it's Tim Burgess with a special announcement about my listening party on Absolute Radio. So far, we've heard stories behind classic records by New Order, U2, The Kinks, Def Leppard, Catatonia, Tis Fears, Simple Minds, The, and a great band called The Charlatans. I swear I didn't write this. Well, I'm really pleased to say that I'll be back with new episodes and new listening parties. So search Tim's Listening Party wherever you get your podcasts. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for season 4 and more stories behind iconic albums.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Audi. Pop by the Glasgow, Hamilton, Ayr, Stirling or Edinburgh Lookers Audi between the 25th and 29th of April to take advantage of enhanced offers on the fully electric range. It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard as we kick off the post-split fixtures. Livingston's relegation could be confirmed against Ross County, with St Johnstone, Hibs and Aberdeen Motherwell playing a big part in the bottom 6. Hearts are out to secure third, but they have 4th place Kilmarnock to get past. And of course on to the title race tomorrow, with Rangers going to St Mirren and Celtic travelling to Dundee. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me you have Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins.
The menu today has lions and staggies, the cabbage and ribs. Jam tarts and Sainties, they're playing the Hibs. Killie didn't fit the rhyme because they play on plastic. But it's Europe and survival, it's going to be fantastic. Dazzler and the Mushroom, Gordon and me, the sun is shining brightly, the kick-off's at 3. Go ahead then. Go ahead then.
Someone's had too much time in their hands this morning.
Somebody's been in here since 6:30 this morning.
I come in early and he was an hour and a half in before.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all.
Do you know what happened? I got up this morning, the sun was shining. I thought, I'll go to the supermarket. It takes me 20 minutes to walk there and 20 minutes to walk back. So I had a 40-minute walk, and I thought, the menu today has lions and staggies, the cabbage and ribs. Jam tarts and Sainties.
Don't need to repeat it again. You got it the first time. It was good. It was really good. Just don't milk it. It's a
buns.
Anyway, it is a big day of football, as he has so eloquently put.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, we're into the definitive part of the season now, and I know all eyes tomorrow will be on Celtic and Rangers because it's the top end of the table in the Championship. But bottom end of the table, Livingston have limped on for a long time, and today could finally be the day that their fate is sealed. You look at Hearts v Killie as well. What a game. You know, I know we all think Hearts have got third place sewn up, and they probably will have, but Derek McInnes will certainly want to prove that they're every bit as good, especially at Rugby Park. And St Johnstone Hibs, I mean, you look at Hibs this season, is it time for another rebuild at Hibs? Well, Nick Montgomery won't think so. He'll want to go there and get a result. In Aberdeen v Motherwell, well, they had their player of the year dance the other night. Can some of the players show some of the attitude and ability that they showed last week when Motherwell visit? A good day of football all round.
Let's work our way through them, Gordon Dalziel. There's a lot at stake. That's why we love this time of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, of course there's a lot at stake. You're looking at some really, really important fixtures. Aberdeen and Motherwell, I don't think Motherwell will be dragged into it, but if Motherwell could go up and win at Pittodrie today and results go elsewhere, all of a sudden Aberdeen, who come in for a lot of plaudits last weekend against Celtic, could be dragged right into this relegation battle. But can also say, and the boys I can't believe never picked it up, congratulations to Dundee United, champions last night, a 0-0 draw at Airdrie. So Jim Goodwin and everyone concerned there.
They got their congratulations
Said
last
that
week.
last week.
It was all but done, wasn't it?
They weren't the title winners last week. Last night it was secured. Don't start, Mark.
See,
I'm trying to do
you're a stickler for the rules.
Yes.
That's the thing we love about you. You're always just keen for accuracy. Let's start going round the grounds. We'll work our way from top to bottom, if you like, or as near as top as we can get today. Kilmarnock against Hearts is a cracker. Roger Hannah is in the Ayrshire sunshine.
Yes, indeed, Gordon, and it is the only Premiership top 6 game today with Celtic and Rangers both in action on Sunday. This is 4th versus 3rd in the sunshine at Rugby Park, as you say. Hearts clear in 3rd place, 11 points ahead of Kilmarnock with just 5 games left. They can secure group stage European football today with a win in Ayrshire, and that would be the second time in 3 years Hearts have managed that. What a bonus that would be after the pain of that Scottish Cup semi-final defeat to Rangers at Hampden last weekend. Stevie Naismith back at Rugby Park where it all began, and he brings a very strong record with him. Unbeaten in 4 games against his old club this season, including wins here in the Premiership and also in the League Cup, and 2 draws at Tynecastle. So the bedrock for Hearts season, Lawrence Shanklin, the captain, 21 Premiership goals and a candidate, of course, for Player of the Year. Kilmarnock, they haven't played since a 2-0 win at St Johnstone a fortnight ago. Only 1 defeat in the last 2 months, and they're now 8 points clear of 5th place St Mirren and 11 clear of 6th place Dundee in the push for Europe. They can all but secure a return to continental competition today for the first time since Angelo Alessio and Connah's Quay Nomads all those years ago. They don't have a 21 goal striker, very much goals spread around 9 for Marley Watkins, 8 for the skipper Kyle Vassell and 6 for Danny Armstrong this season. And there's interesting team news down at Rugby Park here, Gordon. Both managers making changes and both also altering their formations for this game today. Kilmarnock, 1 change from the side that won at Perth. Robbie Dees comes back in for David Watson, and that means a return to 4-4-2 for Kilmarnock. It's Will Dennis in goal. At the back, Joe Wright, Lewis Mayo, Stuart Finlay and Robbie Dees. At midfield, Danny Armstrong, Liam Donnelly, Liam Polworth and Matty Kennedy, and up top it is Vassell and Watkins. On the bench, O'Hara, Watson and Ndaba, Mackay, Stephen, Lyons and McKenzie, Van Veen, Murray and Cameron. As for Hearts, 3 changes from that 2-0 semi-final defeat. There's also a change to a 3-4-2-1. Wing backs Dexter Lembikisa and Alec Cochrane come in for Nat Atkinson and Alan Forrest. And the big team news, flagged up by Naismith yesterday, in comes Xander Clark for Craig Gordon. 2 goalkeepers vying for the gloves at club level and possibly vying for a place in Steve Clark's squad at the Euros this summer. But it is Clark who's missed the last 2 games who returns. He's in goal. It's a back 3 of Stephen Kingsley, Frankie Kent and Kai Rolls. Across the middle, Dexter Limbikisa, Benny Beningame, Cammy Devlin and Alec Cochrane, with Kenneth Vargas and George Grant just behind Shanklin. On the bench, Gordon, Oda and Forrest, Mackay, Sibic and Denham, Tate, Fraser and Tagawa. The referee is Ross Hardy. The VAR is Greg Aiken, and I think this is game of the day, Gordon.
Yes, looking forward to it, absolutely. And I suppose, Roger, Hannah, Hearts have been there so long, it almost like becomes people expecting it to be a formality. Finishing 3rd should be a good achievement. It should be a feather in the cap for Stevie Naismith, but they've just been there for so long, it's almost getting overlooked.
Yeah, they have. They've been there so long, and Kilmarnock have been in 4th place for so long. I think regardless of the outcome down here today, that's how they'll finish. They will both return to European competition, and they'll both deserve it because they have developed. Stevie Naismith, he had a little wobble about autumn time. Some of the Hearts fans didn't appear convinced by him, but he has won them over. They are well clear. Shanklin's playing extremely well. He's getting good things out of a number of people. I think Frankie Kent's been a good signing at the back. Benny Beningame is coming back to form and fitness in the middle of the park, and Kenneth Vargas looks a decent addition as well up front supporting Shanklin. They deserve to be 3rd, and Kelly, I would say, deserve to be 4th. We talk about Shanklin as a Player of the Year candidate. What about Derek McInnes as Manager of the Year? Not that long ago they were in the Championship, Gordon. He's brought them up, he's consolidated, he's built a fantastic squad here. I mean, a very strong bench this afternoon, and that's even without the likes of Greg Stewart, who misses out today from that squad. So he's really built it strongly. They deserve to be 4th, and I'm looking forward to a really good game between them today.
Yeah, should be a cracker. Let's work our way down then. There are a few, obviously the other fixtures all bottom 6. What about Aberdeen Motherwell, Dave Galloway?
Well, after a very impressive performance last weekend, Gordon, in taking Celtic right to the wire in a thrilling cup semi-final, which Aberdeen will show up today? That is the big question. They've been so inconsistent and unpredictable this season and sit 5 points ahead of the relegation playoff place. Starting this afternoon, the Dons have 2 home games back-to-back as they try to avoid being dragged into a dogfight. Can they take advantage, though? Motherwell come to Pittodrie in decent form, and a controversial loss to Aberdeen in Lanarkshire is their only defeat in the last 6 matches. their recent record on the road is actually very good, with 3 victories in a row, including one against Rangers. And how they'd love to get their first triumph over Aberdeen in this campaign as they strive to finish top of the bottom 6. Looking at the teams then, and just the one change for Aberdeen, no huge surprise there. It's Junior Hoylett coming in for Duke. So Keller Roos in goals. Back 4 for the Dons of Nicky Devlin, Stefan Gartenman, Angus MacDonald and Jack McKenzie, Conor Barron and Dante Polvara, the sitting midfielders. Then we have Junior Hoylett, Leighton Clarkson and Jamie McGrath playing behind the main striker Bojan Miovski. Subs for the Dons: Doohan, Jensen, Duke, Hayes, Phillips, Sockler, Duncan, Milne and Rubezic. Motherwell, well, they are unchanged this afternoon. So Liam Kelly in goals, a back 3 of Dan Casey, Paul McGinn and Shane Blaney. Midfield: Stephen O'Donnell, Davor Dravkovsky, Lennon Miller and Georgie Gent, with Blair Spittle playing off Jack Vale and Theo Bair in attack. The subs today for the Steelmen: Oxborough, Mugabe, Halliday, Shaw, Nicholson, Ebiye, Ferry, Wells and Butcher. Match referee Craig Napier, and on VAR duties today it's Grant Irvin.
Another one to look forward to then. What about St Johnstone Hibs, David Friel?
Yeah, Gordon, the cabbage and ribs have arrived in Perth. A really intriguing game here. You've got St Johnstone's fighting for their lives, fighting for survival at the bottom, but then the opposite dugout you've got Nick Montgomery, I think it's fair to say, fighting to keep his job as Hibs boss. There's a lot of doom and gloom about his club just now. Montgomery spoke out yesterday, declared he was the man to get them back on track after a pretty miserable campaign. He claimed the board's recent statement, which, let's face it, amounted to a vote of no confidence in him, came at an emotional time at the club after they failed to make the top 6. But I think it's fair to say, Gordon, when the Hibs board declare the season unacceptable and launch a review into the best way forward, and where he's the best man to take them forward, it's clear that Nick Montgomery is under major pressure. They want him to deliver wins, and if he doesn't do that today and in the coming weeks, I think you really have to fear for him. They've only got 1 win in their last 6, and this is a really tough game against the St Johnstone team, clearly desperate to avoid that relegation playoff. Craig Levine's got a good record against Hibs recently. They beat Hibs here in December. They won Easter Road just 3 weeks ago, and I think they will fancy their chances against the inconsistent visitors. As I say, St Johnstone are still in deep trouble. They're only 1 point above Ross County in 10th place, and clearly also need to get wins on the board. Craig Levine's made 3 changes from their defeat to Kilmarnock 2 weeks ago. David Keltins, Max Churiavi and Tony Gallagher are all out, with Liam Gordon, Fran Franchik and Graham Carey in. So St Johnstone, it's going to be a 3-5-2 formation. Dimitar Mitov, Ryan McGowan, Andy Considine, Liam Gordon at the back. Middle 5 looks like Matt Smith, Fran Franchik, Dan Phillips, Graham Carey and Luke Robinson, with Nicky Clark and Adama Sidibe up front. Subs for St Johnstone are Richards, May, McPherson right, Kucharavi, Olafunwa, Kimpioka, Keltins and Connor Smith. As for Hibs, just one change from that damaging draw at Motherwell last time out. Adam Lafondra comes in for the injured Eli Yuan. He doesn't even make the bench. He apparently picked up a knock in training yesterday. So it looks like a 4-2-3-1 for Hibs. David Marshall in goals, back 4 of Chris Cadden, Will Fish, Rocky Bashiri and Jordan Abita. Nathan Mariah Welsh, Joe Newell will hold the midfield, with Martin Boyle, Emiliano Marcondes, Mizian, Mayo Lida and Adam Lafondra as that front 4. Subs for Hibs are Wallacott, Hanlon, Levitt, Venti, Mayenda, Stevenson, Triantis, Jad Tavares and Campbell. The referee at McDermott Park is David Monroe, and the VAR is Stephen McLean.
What does this look like for Nick Montgomery then, David Friel? Because you're right, that statement said that, you know, performances, results hadn't been good enough and things had to improve. Does that mean he can save his job in 5 games against bottom 6 opposition, or is this a matter of time? What's your interpretation of it?
I'm not convinced he can save his job now, Gordon. I think the statement, the tone of the statement and everything was in it suggests to me that Hibs are actively looking at whether a new manager is the best way forward. I don't think you can base, you know, a manager's future at the club on whether he beats, with all due respect, you know, St Johnstone, Livingston and Ross Counties of this world. I think Hibs have a real big decision to make. I don't think they can let it linger over the summer. I think if they're going to make a change, they have to make it in the coming weeks. You saw what happened with Lee Johnson last year. He got the summer, he got the transfer window, and then they sacked him within weeks of the new season. I think with the investment coming from Bill Foley and his group, I think if I was Nick Montgomery, I'd be seriously concerned about keeping my job right now.
It's an interesting one, that, Hugh, that statement. I remember it broke on air one night when we were here with Marvin Bartley, big Hibs man, of course, and more questions than answers, possibly.
Bill Foley's put £6 million into the club. He is clearly intent on the root and branch inspection of what's going on there, and the bottom line is Nick Montgomery has had 8 wins out of 29 league matches since becoming Hibs manager. It's amateur psychology time, but for me, he has a charisma bypass. He is not the kind of man who is going to lead a club as big as Hibs in a town where Hearts are third and Neil Don third, and going into Europe. It's not good enough, and he'll be back in Ramsey Street in Australia shortly.
Well, tell us what you really think.
These neighbours.
Charisma bypass.
He's still there to be a stand-up comedian. Doesn't matter if he's a bit.
No, but I do think
Aberdeen are getting the most boring man in Sweden, apparently, as their manager next.
And you know, Stephen Naismith is nobody's idea of a song and dance man either.
Just slaughtering everybody now.
But
what has this son done to you this morning?
No, it's fine. I'll motor on. He's not successful. And Bill Foley is looking at a man and thinking he's not going to make us successful. And, you know, a defeat today would be the final nail in the coffin. But I think he could only survive, I think, if he wins 3 or 4 of the last 5 matches. Even
at that, though, Mark, that's the bit I was getting to with David Friel. Can you save your job against five of the bottom 6 teams? So what if he wins a couple of them? That is deemed good enough.
I really don't think you can,
strange,
because what point have you proven then? The time for Nick Montgomery has been and gone, unfortunately for him. Now, we've discussed it many times in this show. Hibs entertaining going forward, but serious problems at the back, and it's up to the coach to fix that, even with the personnel that he's got, and he hasn't done it. So you're right in saying if he has to go and beat St Johnstone today and Ross County and Livingston, is Bill Foley sitting back and going, that's our man? He's now shown us. Of course not, because the league is weighted this way. You're playing all the worst teams, of course. So I'm with David Friel on this one. I think if I was Nick Montgomery, I'd be fearful of my job in the summer.
And we've been used to Livingston in the top flight for many seasons now, but it could be set to end pretty soon. Ross County, the visitors today. Adam Binney is there.
Thank you, Gordon, and good afternoon from the Tony Macaroni Arena. This may be the opening day of post-split fixtures, but come 5 o'clock we could have our first relegation confirmed. The permutations are simple. If Livingston lose to Ross County today, then they will be relegated to the Scottish Championship. Any other result means that they will hang on to their Premiership status for at least 1 more week. So Livy's fate has pretty much already been decided. Relegation feels inevitable, but the same can't be said for their opponents, Ross County. They occupy the 11th place relegation playoff spot, but seem to have enjoyed a mini resurgence since Don Cowie replaced Eric Adams. A win today would not only sink Livingston, but if other results go their way, could take them out of the playoff spot or even drag Aberdeen right into the mire. The Staggies will of course be hoping to back up last weekend's performance, which saw them beat Rangers for the very first time in their history. So unsurprisingly, they make no changes to that team. It's Ross Laidlaw in goal, a back 5 of Michi Effetti, Connor Randall, Jack Baldwin, Ryan Leake and George Harman, a box midfield of Eli King, Victor Laturi, Jan Danda and Josh Sims, with a lone striker, Simon Murray. The substitutes are Ross, Brown, Henderson, Kella, Jenks, White, Brophy, Ayina and Reid. Just the one change for the hosts, as Bruce Anderson comes in to replace the suspended Teti Yengi up front for Livy. They go with Shamal George in goal, a back 4 of Michael Nottingham, Ayo Obalai, Michael Devlin and Sean Kelly, Jamie Brandon and Jason Holt just sitting in front of the back 4, with a 3 of Scott Pittman, Stephen Kelly and Daniel Mackay behind Bruce Anderson. Up front their subs are Hamilton, Carson, Bradley, Sangari, Guthrie, Ledingham and Sharp. The referee is Willie Collum and the VAR is Gavin Duncan.
Looking forward to it. Livingston fans will hope they can produce something miraculous, but it's not looking likely, it has to be said. Those are your 4 Premiership games, big games down the divisions as well, and we'll take a look back at some of the week's biggest talking points next. And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They have Jaguar, Audi, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that is right for you. And on now through until Monday at Lookers Audi in Glasgow, Glasgow, Hamilton, Ayr, Stirling and Edinburgh, they have a Take Charge event running. That means you can take advantage of enhanced offers and incentives for the new Audi fully electric range. So if you're thinking of going electric, check out lookersaudi.co.uk to find out more, or pop into your local showroom. Now back to the podcast.
Looking to get car or van insurance double quick? To mustard.co.uk. With top insurance providers, a 5-minute pit stop with us could get you out in front in the race to savings. Car or van, work or play. Compare insurance with mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Action as it happens. And your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are in the studio. We've got the top team round the grounds as we build up to a huge day of post-split fixtures. It is the first round of post-split fixtures. Lots to look forward to up and down the league. At this stage on a Saturday, we tend to pause for breath and reflect on some of the week's biggest talking points. On that regard, I feel like it's been quite a quiet week. I don't think there's been too much debate, too much to reflect on, too much to argue over. So what about Roger Hannah, the title race? Where does it sit now? Who's said what this week? Who's had what injury boost? Who's had what injury blow? What's happened this week in the title race without them even playing?
Well, there's certainly been a lot of shadow boxing, a lot of chat after the two Cup semi-finals, two victorious Cup semi-finals to set up that blockbuster final at Hampden on the 25th of May. Celtic, of course, are in pole position for the league. They've got the 3-point gap, they've got a superior goal difference. They received the boost through the week of Dalziel and Maida's super quick return to fitness with that hamstring injury. He won't feature at Dens tomorrow, could well be back next weekend to take on Hearts at Celtic Park, and that is a great tonic for Brendan Rodgers. They weren't great against Aberdeen last Saturday, but they get through the game. They are shedding goals. He knows he'll need to tighten that up before the run-in. He knows Dens Park won't be easy, as Rangers found to their cost in midweek before the split, before those semi-finals, Gordon. So it is nicely balanced. I think the majority of people would say Celtic are favourites, but I don't think it's over.
Not a chance it's over, Roger. Both had, for me, shoddy performances in the Cup last weekend. But now we're at a stage where you cannot have lightweight performances in a heavyweight contest. We have the 5 games to play. Paisley and Dundee tomorrow. A very intriguing start for the pair of them. Any slip up and you could be in deep bother. I've just watched Liverpool draw 2-2 with West Ham, and they're all going off practically in tears because they know the league is a goner for them now. That's the way it is up here for Celtic and for Rangers.
Yeah, and I suppose, David Friel, it might come down to who gets a little bit of luck injury wise going into the final stretch. Of course, the league table doesn't lie and all that stuff, and the best team will deserve to win it when it's all said and done. But as we head into this final straight, Celtic about to bring Dalziel and Maida back much earlier than expected. On the flip side, no Abdallah Sima for a couple of weeks for Rangers, so you wonder how crucial those pieces of information could be.
Yeah, Gordon, I mean, it's clear you want your best players and your most devastating attacking players available. I actually think the Sima injury is a real blow for Rangers. He was out for such a spell after the African Cup of Nations. He came back, looked really, really good. I felt he changed the game when he came on against Celtic at Ibrox. I thought he gave Greg Taylor a torrid time down that right side. I think he also was probably Rangers' brightest spark at Dens Park in that game as well, and I think to lose him at such a crucial stage of the season is a bit of a blow for Philip Clement. Ross McCausland's done well, but he's still a young player. Scott Wright probably hasn't convinced when he's come in, so I suppose it depends who he wants to play on either flank. But Rangers, remember, I've got Oscar Cortez out as well and Danilo, so Rangers don't have that many options in attack. I think for Dalziel and Maida, I think everybody expected him to miss the rest of the season. Brendan Rodgers said it publicly, speaking to people in and around Celtic. They didn't expect to see him back, but his powers of recovery are clearly quite incredible, and if he can play any role at all, especially against Rangers where he's so he has been so successful against James Tavernier, it's going to give Celtic a huge boost for the title race.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, Dalziel and Maida, who would have thought it, back so soon for Celtic? That's been one of the big personnel talking points of the week.
Well, it is huge because he's a big player for the club, but when you've seen Ange Postecoglou bring him in, you now see Brendan Rodgers. He's a first pick in that position. Very rarely do you see Dyson Maeda fully fit and sitting on the bench for Celtic. So goes to show you he's a huge part of Brendan Rodgers' plans. And will he be the real pivotal point in this title race? Maybe. I don't know, Daz disagreed with that, but I think in the big game against Rangers, he's so important at either end of the pitch, which way you're going. From a attacking point of view, he's certainly scored goals in that fixture, but nullifying the threat from Rangers is going to be massive on the day, so he plays a big part in that. And I think all Celtic fans would have just been, resigned to losing him for the rest of the season, but it's a huge boost. But I think with these games coming up, I think you can group them into these two coming up for both of them. Celtic tomorrow at Dens, Rangers at St Mirren, followed by Kilmarnock and Hearts for the pair of them. Just get those two out the way. 6 points will do for both managers. Then you go into the big one, and whichever way the results fall on that will give us a better idea of where we stand. And then the final couple of games. So take them in groups and see where you fall on that. But tomorrow is the start of it. It's going to be huge, but 2 tough games, and I don't think it's going to be as easy as everybody thinks for both of them.
Psychologically speaking, Maeda coming back for the Rangers game is very important for Celtic because it gives Tavernier something to really think about. However, you have to get this weekend's games out of the way first, and I think in the wide positions Celtic are lightweight, and I think it's time to stop messing about with Yang and get James Forrest in from the start. Kuhn will come and go, and we'll see how his temperament is when it's not at Celtic Park, it's at Dens Park. But I think Yang last week once again showed that in this environment he's not up to it.
He flatters to deceive, there's no doubt about that. Maeda comes back, gives them good options, because I think we all now agree that James Forrest isn't just there to take up a seat in the bench. He can contribute. You've seen that last week. He come on, got his goal. I thought he was excellent. Bit of sharpness about him. Palmer has come back for fitness. That's an option. Maeda when he comes back again. I know what you were saying about Yang. He's still learning the game here. You see him 1 week and you think, yeah, okay, he's got something. Then the following week he's all over the place, and people are probably after 25 minutes shouting to get him substituted. But you're better getting into these run of fixtures with your full squad, and Celtic seem to they're getting that there. I agree with David Friel. I think Sima at Rangers is a massive miss to them in this running.
It's been such, sorry Gordon, I was going to say it's been such an important part this season, both medical teams, because when you look at key personnel for Rangers and Celtic that have missed large chunks of the season, and at different times, and at one point you thought, well, Celtic's obviously hampered by Hatate been out for so long, and the others that were injured alongside him, Carter Vickers in and out. And where are they going to come back at a crucial time? Same with Rangers with Sima, and even Cortez gone away, big injury problems there. But Daz is right, at this point Celtic, certainly with their influential players, seem to be getting them back, while Rangers have lost a couple, and that could be the telling factor come the end of the season.
I don't know if it's quite mind games, Roger Hanna, or it's just both managers trying to get their message across, but it's been a fascinating week on that front as well. Brendan Rodgers leaning very much into the trophy winning experience that Celtic have, talks about them getting their trophy heads on at this time of the season. And in the blue corner, Philippe Clement reminding everyone just how good Rangers' record has been since he came in, better than Celtic's. In fact, he was very quick to point out yesterday, is the psychology an important part of this running?
Without doubt, and there are big prizes there for the two managers and the two teams, Gordon. I mean, Rangers could still win a domestic treble, which would be an astonishing achievement given where they were when Michael Beale was sacked and Philippe Clement came in October time. Celtic could win another double, and after the defeat down here at Kilmarnock in the League Cup earlier in the season, after the defeat here in Kilmarnock in the League earlier in the season, you wouldn't necessarily have thought that was on the cards either. So if this is the time of the season when those Celtic players get their trophy heads on, they'll need to screw them on a little bit tighter than they were at Hampden against Aberdeen last weekend. And for Rangers, they have it all to prove that they can handle post-split fixtures, they can handle a title run-in, and most importantly, that they can beat Celtic, because they haven't beaten Celtic this season. They haven't beaten Celtic in a meaningful game for an awful long time. if Rangers are to win silverware in the rest of this season, they might need to beat Celtic twice.
Yeah, because Philippe Clement's one of those statements that's just factually correct, and if you're able to take a step back and take a deep breath, Roger Hannah, you may be able to appreciate that it does just show a sign of progress and how far they've come. But who's got time to take a step back and take a deep breath in the heat of a title race? And even the Rangers fans aren't that interested right now in that. They just want to get this job done.
No, the Rangers fans on the long drives home from Dingwall and Dundee weren't sitting in the back of the bus saying, I'll tell you what, we've come a long way since Philippe Clement took the job. You know, they were bemoaning an opportunity lost with those 5 dropped league points away to Ross County in a defeat, away to Dundee in that dreadful 0-0 draw. So they're not looking at the big picture, they're looking at the here and now. The here and now is they could have been ahead of Celtic at this point, but they're not. Sort of a bit of catching up to do. They will need to win at St Mirren tomorrow lunchtime to put a bit of pressure on Celtic going to Dens Park at 3 o'clock. And for me, they probably need to win all 6 games that are remaining this season.
Yeah, that could be the case. But it's now a fascinating contest of mental will. The psychology of it all. The players at Celtic, for example, that we've talked about, Kuhn and Palma and Yang, can they really live with this? That's why I think James Forrest, 22 trophies at Celtic, that's why I think he's important. Into the mix at Rangers, you also have this speculation about James Tavernier and possibly Connor Goldson being lined up for the Saudi Pro League with Steven Gerrard. How much is that affecting their mindset at the moment? Or are they able to say, yeah, let's go out with a treble and then we can happily leave the club behind and go somewhere else for another experience? So for me, starting tomorrow, 12:30 on a Sunday, it's always, it didn't work for Rangers in Dingwall. It's an awkward time, and they're playing a St Mirren side who have a big support behind them and who are thrilled by the prospect of getting into Europe. So it's a big test. And then Celtic will know what's in front of them, because they'll kick off after Rangers are finished, and they'll need to have the temperament to handle that pitch. Tony Docherty, who's galvanised Dundee, and Dundee, who have achieved big time by getting into the top 6 in the first place, and who now dare to dream of Europe. Tomorrow is the big picture.
What does your gut tell you about Connor Goldson and James Tavernier at this stage, Roger Hannah? Philippe Clement said yesterday he does expect them to be Rangers players next season. I've seen it said, and understandably, that's pretty much all he was ever going to say. He's hardly going to tell everyone what time their flights are booked for. What do you think?
I tend to think they will still be at Rangers next season, and not really just because they had to say that. They've both got 2 years left in their deals, and also there will be an awful lot of players leaving Rangers this summer. A lot of out of contract, John Lundstrom and Borna Barisic already linked with moves away in their freedom of contract. Ryan Jack's contract's up, John McLaughlin. There's all the loan players you need to look at. What's happening with Sima and Silva and Cortez. I'm sure Diomande will stay. There are other fringe players that will go out as well. Wouldn't surprise me to see the likes of Scott Wright and people like that leaving the club this summer. There's always talk about Red Van Yilmaz wanting to return to continental football. So if you think all or the vast majority of those players are leaving, everybody can't go. Balogun, he's another who his contract's up. Ben Davies hasn't really been made a big impact, so you really can't see clearing out 17 or 18 players. I think it might go into double figures, the ones I've mentioned there just now, and for that reason I just can't see Tavernier and Goldson being added to that list at all. He's going to need some players from this season to take them into next season and then build round that core.
Even if the price was right?
Listen, I suppose everyone has their price, and if Steven Gerrard and Aleti Fak or anyone else for that matter came calling for the 2 players, I am sure Philippe Clement and the Rangers board would consider the offers, but there haven't been many offers, if any offers, for Tavernier in his 8 or 9 years at the club, for Goldson in his 6 years at the club. That's why they're still there, and I would anticipate they'll still be there next season.
It's funny because we're so wrapped up in the title race, David Friel. There's not been loads of time to speculate about who will or won't be where next season, but I noticed last night, even when we were on air, the Twitter rumour mill was turning about John Lundstrom and whether it's Turkish football for him next season. Philippe Clement yesterday talking about having an offer there for him, but remains to be seen whether he'll take it up.
Yeah, this is one that's been rumbling for a while as well. Borna Barisic also linked with Turkey, but as Roger's saying, there's so many Rangers players who will probably move on, due to freedom of contract, just the fact they're not really featuring under Philippe Clement. But I think he would be very wary to lose the core of his squad and guys that are playing week in, week out. Gordon, John Lundstrom, Conor Goldson up until the weekend, and James Tavernier are three kind of linchpins of that Rangers team. So, while I do think there will be massive changes at Rangers, I think Philippe Clement will want to keep that core together. And as he said yesterday, there's a contract on the table for John Lundstrom. It's up to him if he wants to sign it. I actually think he probably will stay at Rangers, John Lundstrom. I think he's probably played the best football of his career here, and if Rangers can give him the wage he's looking for, I do think he'll stay.
Well, plenty to look forward to. We can put some of that on the back burner because we have huge games coming up at 3 o'clock, not only in the Premiership, but that will be our focus today. Will Livy go down? Can Hearts secure third? What can Killie do in the battle nearer the top in the European spots? St Johnstone, Aberdeen, are they safe? Ross County in the mix. Hibs have managerial question marks as well. So much to look forward to, and we will go back around the grounds next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel in the studio. 15 minutes to go until kick-off in the big games round the country. So let's go back round those Premiership grounds. Kilmarnock against Hearts, Roger Hannah. Just to reflect on a piece of team news that you brought us earlier on. Xander Clark back in goal. What are the implications there then with the Euros in mind?
Listen, it's a really difficult one for Stephen Naismith. He brought Craig Gordon. Craig Gordon was his cup goalkeeper. He had played right the way through the competition, I think against Spartans, Morton, Airdrie. He was always going to play at Hampden against Rangers last week. To get him ready for that, he was given the game against Livingston, the last Premiership game before the split. I didn't think he covered himself in glory in that game. You remember the 2 goals he lost from distance to Stephen Kelly very early in the game for Livy. Stephen Naismith brought Xander Clark back in because today he is his league goalkeeper, if you like. He did have a concession yesterday that if Hearts were to win today and secure third place in European group stage football, he might consider giving Craig Gordon the 4 remaining league games. He's 41 years of age. He looked to me in those last couple of games as if he was a man needing regular football. It will be a big decision for Steve Clark as well. Even if Craig Gordon gets those 4 games, who goes? Does he take both Clark and Gordon? Or if it's a 26-man squad, which looks as if it might yet be ratified by UEFA's executive committee in the coming days, would that allow him to take all 4 goalies?
I know what Roger's saying, but I would be astonished if he used these extra picks for a goalkeeper. What's the point in 4 goalkeepers? Okay, they can train with each other 2 and 2, but apart from that, there's nothing to benefit from that. He's got to pick his 3. I don't think Craig Gordon will be in the Euros. You've heard it here first.
Okay.
I went early.
The man has spoken. I wonder if Kilmarnock against Hearts, Roger Hannah, we are in awards season. Both of those managers in with a shout, or just one of them? What's your take on the jobs that's been done there?
Well, they've both done very good jobs. I said at the top of the show, I thought Derek McInnes is probably really in the argument for it. Tony Docherty and D must be in the argument, bringing a team in to the Premiership and getting them into the top 6 straight away. John McGlynn at Falkirk, they could be an invincible season if they keep going in the last couple of League One games. But certainly Derek McInnes must be to the forefront of that debate. It's the 42 SPFL managers that will vote on the manager of the year, and it would be fascinating to see what their peers think of it. And it'd be even more remarkable if Philippe Clement wins a treble and doesn't get it, or Brendan Rodgers wins a double and doesn't get it. But with the time the votes are cast, Gordon, I think it's more likely to be a McInnes or a Docherty.
We've actually kicked Fraser Wishart off the show this afternoon so that we can discuss these things without his influence, because you know that he has to stay out of this. He has to stay impartial at this time of the season. Hugh Keevins,
I don't care. He sent me the VIP ticket yesterday, so I don't care
VIP.
whether he's here or not. What are we rewarding? That would be my question. You know, I mean, good luck to all the guys. You know, Stephen Naismith, to Derek McInnes and Stephen Robinson, you'd have to include in that, and Tony Dock. But what are we rewarding? Because, you know, there's Hearts 5 defeats in 2 competitions to Rangers.
Yeah, but you would, them finishing third is like as high as they can go in the league. So that's what you're rewarding. You're not talking about a random snapshot of 5 games. That would be no way to give out an award either way, would it?
I'd like to see in that city of Edinburgh some progression towards actually winning something. I know Hibs get the cup in 8 years ago now.
Votes would have even been in before Hearts got knocked out of the Scottish Cup though, so it's going to be based largely on their league performance. And if we're accepting that they can't finish higher than third's pretty good.
Who are you making a case for, Hugh?
Well, for me, I've gone before and said John McGlynn, I think you have to reward something tangible. And I do understand that the timing of the award rules out Philippe Clement and Brendan Rodgers, who one will be a title winner and not manager of the year. However, that is just a quirk of the voting system with PFA Scotland. But for me, I think you reward the tangible, and I think Falkirk having the season they're having and probably ending it without any defeats at all, I think the man deserves it.
Okay, but if Hearts do you think Hearts could ever win our top flight?
No.
So then Hearts can never have a manager of the year then, by your logic?
No.
If they win the Cup,
he could win the Scottish Cup and the League Cup the way that Callum Davidson did.
The votes would be in before the Scottish Cup. How many times do we have to mention this?
Correct. Could win the League Cup.
Tell me specifically then, what are we rewarding if Stephen Naismith gets it?
I think you're missing the point. I don't care if it's Stephen Naismith or not, but you're the one that's presented this logic. So I'm asking you, can a Hearts manager ever win manager of the year then, if the votes are always in before the Scottish Cup and it has to be someone that wins a league?
Well,
so it's quite a straightforward one. Can a Hearts manager realistically ever win it?
Well, if he wins a trophy, League Cup.
So you need to win the League Cup.
Yeah.
So then, but what if you combine the League Cup with finishing like 6th, 7th?
Well, at least he won a trophy.
I think with Stephen Naismith, the argument for him is that he has been to Celtic Park and won, and he has beat Celtic at Tynecastle as well. So although there's no trophy in the cabinet, finishing third and beating Celtic twice is massive, albeit they've not laid a glove in Rangers. But therefore still,
you cannot bring in 2 wins over Celtic. You can't reward 2 wins over Celtic
and the rest. If he went through the full season and finished third and got walloped every time against Celtic and walloped every time against Rangers, then I would agree with you. But I think the argument for Stephen Naismith is that's not been the case. He's went to Celtic Park and won, and he's won at Tynecastle against him, and he's finished third, beat the rest and got to a semi-final. So the argument's there. For me, I said Tony Dock, but I get Hugh's argument. I totally agree with Hugh's argument about John McGlynn as well. He's got to be in the run.
I'm going Derek McInnes all day long. You look at where Kilmarnock were 2 seasons ago. They come up, they finished 10th last year. I'm correct in saying that. They struggled. They couldn't win a game away from home, and all of a sudden he has turned that in 2 transfer windows, sitting 4th, one of the best squads in the league, already beating Celtic Rangers. I think Derek McInnes has done an absolute fantastic job.
It's a tribute to him that Celtic and Rangers are looking at that Kilmarnock fixture. Rangers have Kilmarnock next weekend at Ibrox. Celtic then go to Rugby Park midweek after that. Kilmarnock could decide the title. So that's a measure of the job that he has done. But I have to stand by my own argument here. What are we rewarding?
Well, ultimately I think history tells you're rewarding people probably who punch above their weight. You know, Steve Clarke won manager of the year without winning anything. Jack Ross won manager of the year at St Mirren. That might have been the promotion season. You go back, Billy Reid won it at Hamilton Accies. The managers vote for it, so they look at who's punched above their weight. Otherwise you wouldn't do it. You just give it to the league winner every season, and then it's really simple and you don't bother even having a discussion.
I would like to know, as I say, good luck to whoever gets it. My feeling is that John McGlynn is a unique case and should get it, but I would like to hear the managerial rationale. Why did you pick
that's what it will be. They always say they look at budgets, don't they? You always hear them. Stephen Robinson said it this week. You look at budgets, how tough a job they've got to do, what they've done within the constraints that club faces. As an example, Livingston, if Livingston were to finish 4th, David Martindale would probably be manager of the year. But by your logic, you say, you can't because it's not tangible, he didn't win anything. Yeah, but he took Livy to 4th.
Yeah, but
so it's about punching above your weight usually.
Yeah, but you are introducing another kind of unique example. If there was something extraordinary, and Livy, who run on a hand-to-mouth 2-bob budget, that would be extraordinary if they got to 4th place.
But not tangible though. according to you.
But it would be almost a tangible sign of what can be achieved under extreme circumstances.
Well, we know who the St Mirren managers voted for, and it shows you their thinking. He's went for Naismith at Hearts.
He said it publicly.
He's come out and said that publicly. So he's looked at the job that Stephen Naismith's done at Hearts. Look, this is a guy that about 6 months ago the Hearts fans were calling to get him out the door. They didn't want him. And he's dug deep and he's had a good season. I just look at the overall club, the squad, everything, what they brought, and I think it's very hard to see by Kilmarnock.
But who'd get your nod, just quickly, Hugh, who'd get your nod, David Friel?
Derek McInnes. Gordon, I agree with everything Gordon Dale said there. I think the job he's done over the last couple of years has been terrific, and I think he deserves it.
I just have to say, I've had a good message in from Quinn. I just imagine the thought of this, just to veer away from the Premiership for a second. Afternoon, Gordon. We're all at Dumbarton FC for Big Tam's head wetting. He's 6'5" and will be walking the team out as a mascot.
Holding the captain's hand.
Can we get a shout out? I will send a picture after, he says.
A very tall son of the rock.
Got to get a picture of him in the tunnel, hand in hand, ready to go out. That's
6'5".
I remember a mate of mine was mascot at Motherwell at Fir Park, and generally they will be around, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 even, but we were about 14 at the time. He came out looking like bigger than the place. And then of course this is the other way. People now do it as adults as like a joke, so to speak. But anyway, we're almost there. It's almost kick-off time. Adam Binney, I feel like I know the answer to this question, because if there was ever a fixture that was going to attract a small crowd, it would be Livy against Ross County. I just wondered if there's any buzz around the place at all, given that this is like last chance to survive sort of thing.
Yeah, Gordon, I think there's a tinge of sadness in the air really here. There's not a big crowd, as you say, that never is in this fixture. The only people with a smile on their face, I believe, are kids from a local football club trying to get signatures with some of the players doing their warm-up. But it seems like the fans know that relegation is inevitable, and that today, or at some point in the coming weeks, Livingston's 6th consecutive season in the top flight, 6 years, in the top flight, will come to an end. That's the longest run in the club's history, but I think if they are to be relegated today, they can look back on this time with some fond memories. This is probably the first season of the last 6 that they've actually been threatened by relegation. The current manager, David Martindale, he's led them to a top 6 finish and a cup final. Of course, before that, Gary Holt managed a 5th place finish in there too. So they've got some great memories to look back on, and it's been a really successful time, especially when you consider the budget that they're working on, as the manager often likes to remind us. Something that I did want to address or look into was that if Livingston are to be relegated and David Martindale leaves, whether that be he resigns or is sacked or whatever, or in fact even if they just go down and he's no longer in the league and he's still the manager, then Stephen Robinson will take over from David Martindale as the league's longest serving manager, and he was only appointed St Mirren boss just 2 years and 2 months ago. Incredible. But yeah, we know we're already going to be losing the Spaghetti Hads. Is today the day we lose Livy? And you never know, we might even lose David Martindale. We'll find out all this afternoon.
It's a fickle business, this management game. What's the feeling on the managerial front? Dave Galloway, Aberdeen's incoming manager, he's done a Jurgen Klopp. He's losing every game since he announced that he's coming to the Dons. Is this a case of just absolutely tying up survival and trying to move on quickly to next season for Aberdeen?
Yeah, I think so, Gordon. I mean, it's, just quickly looking back at last weekend, it's very seldom a team gets so much praise after losing a match. Aberdeen did themselves proud against Celtic at Hampden, and their performance, coupled with the aforementioned announcement of Jimmy Tilleen as manager, they've certainly raised spirits around Pittodrie. But Motherwell, looking at them, they're keen to continue their fine form away from home, and they will hopefully come here and have a go at the Dons. Remember, on their last trip here, I was sitting in the stand that night watching that, and the Steelmen raced into a 3-0 lead after 26 minutes, only for the match to finish 3-3. Hugely entertaining and quite chaotic as well that night. More of the same today in the sunshine here at Pittodrie would be tremendous.
Would tip you over the edge, Dave Galloway. Too much excitement for one afternoon, but let's get cracking then, because the 3 o'clock games are kicking off next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
It's been a quick old season. Can you believe we're already at the first of the post-split fixtures? Mark Wilson, Hugh Keevins and Gordon Dalziel are in the studio, and the games are kicking off round the country. So let's take a look. What's this then? Game day 34. I don't think we've had many ACCAs right in the studio in those 34 weeks. Let's see if we can do better today.
Home win, Kelly, against Hearts. Away win, Hibs at St Johnstone. Aberdeen to beat Motherwell. And Ross County win at Livy and relegate poor old Davy Martindale.
Yeah, only one different result in there for me. Kilmarnock to beat Hearts, a draw St Johnstone v Hibs. Aberdeen will beat Motherwell. Ross County will relegate Livy today.
Oh, I will take Kilmarnock, I will take St Johnstone, Aberdeen, Motherwell draw, and I will take a Livy Lions win.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Interested in a career in pharmacy? Apply today to join their team.
And in about 10 minutes you'll find that most of those predictions are out the window, so stay tuned. Don't forget you can stay in touch all afternoon on the platform formerly known as Twitter, at Clyde SSB. Send all your thoughts in. If you've anything to add, anything you want read out, thoughts on the games or any of the talking points, that's where you can find us. And of course later, the chance for you to air your opinions the old fashioned way on the phones as well. I will give you the nod when it's time to do that. We'll look back on today's football. We will of course preview tomorrow's action as well. It is going to be a huge day. It's been a huge day already in the women's game. We had a Scottish Cup semi-final. It finished Rangers 2, Celtic 0 at Handon, so Joe Potter's side through to the final. The game in the women's side of things is heating up as well, because Rangers were in the driving seat in the title race. Celtic have taken the initiative there, but it is Rangers who go through to the cup final. Chelsea Cornet with the first goal, Kirsty Howitt with the second, and a victory for Joe Potter's side. So they're through to the final. That one was played at Hampden in the sunshine, and hopefully we get some more action this afternoon as well.
Yeah, beautiful day for football. Love this time of year.
Did you?
Oh, without doubt. Into the final fixtures of the season, semi-finals and finals
with your
being played.
complexion, really.
Yeah.
I was never roasting here. It was different when I went abroad and I played in the sun, and I just couldn't.
Did you like the sun?
No, not at all. Not at all. I remember playing in Chicago one time against Chicago Fire. Remember the boy Blanco did the trick with the ball in between. He was
Trapped
playing that day.
his legs.
He tried it against us.
Against you,
but
personally?
I had sunstroke at that point, so he just breezed by me. I was over 100 degrees in Chicago. I hated it.
Did you hear the caller midweek from Chicago?
No. Was there someone on from
man
Chicago?
who went to Chicago at the age of 29 and never came back.
I can understand that.
He's now
It's
63.
a long holiday.
63 years
Wonderful
old
city.
now,
Is
and
it?
can't bring himself to watch Celtic against Rangers
Al
anymore.
Capone come from Chicago.
Well,
He did. He used to cut a bit there. I actually went to his bar, Al Capone's
Capone's?
bar.
I would love
So
that.
Blanco was still going strong, because that was the 98 World Cup, wasn't it? He produced that trick.
Aye.
When was this you played?
2010 must have been 7, something like that. Something ran a bit then.
There we go.
It was a hot day. Couldn't keep up with him.
Well, I'm glad we've got the weather out of the way.
I
For
remember
this
that one.
afternoon.
Do you remember that one? You won't remember that, will you?
No, what have I remember?
Trapped the ball between his legs and then jumped
Remember
over.
when he jumped between two players like
Nah.
such?
Trapped. Do you know what I
Did
mean?
he?
Are
On-
we describing
yeah.
this accurately on radio?
Did
when
he
you
drop
can't
at
see
his knees or his ankles?
his ankles?
Right, okay.
His feet, his ankles.
I'm not impressed with that, yeah.
Man,
Well, that's the thing, it's
man,
not-
I've seen many people standing balls and things. Remember Kanchelskis? Sort of like that.
Yeah, okay.
Only
I don't suppose it's hugely difficult, but quite good initiative, is it not? Just-
Well, if you get away with it. No,
there has to be a reason you don't see it very often. It can't be that
listen,
effective.
he was doing it just because it was his signature move against us, and I felt we kind of let him away with it, really. If it was in a real competitive
tempted him.
game, we would have nailed him.
With your sunstroke.
I was all sunburned.
I'd like to see that face.
4-1, Stranraer 0.
very important that,
It is
because
indeed.
if Clyde win, they could go above Stranraer. However, if Stranraer get anything out of that match and Clyde lose, then they are officially in the playoff.
Team 42 would be against East Kilbride, as we now know,
Yep.
because this was the week that it was announced that Buckie Thistle do not have the appropriate licensing requirements to take part in the Highland League versus Lowland League playoff Mark Wilson, so East Kilbride goes straight through.
Yeah, and I said Thursday I thought it was unfair. I get the arguments that everybody should follow the rules, but I still thought there might have just been some leeway there to get their house in order and let them play that game against East Kilbride. However, East Kilbride through, and it must be one of the most dreaded fixtures. That I know myself from being at Brecon and looking further down the road. It was a COVID season and we were looking at playing against potentially Kelty was coming up at that time. A lot of money spent. And it's the same with East Kilbride. Who would really want to fancy them? Because if you're at the bottom of League 2, you're at the bottom of League 2 for a reason. You don't have the resources, the finances that these up and coming teams have. I think it's good. The pyramid system is great, but if you're a manager, a Clyde, or you're a manager, Stranraer, you're dreading what's coming.
I wonder about the Bucky Thistle thing, because they came down here, played Celtic in the Cup, nice financial windfall for them, but they haven't attended to the things that needed to be attended to.
Yeah, but I suppose at the moment it's still a bit of two sides to every story, because their version of events does differ to the SPFL's version of events.
I don't think the SPFL would have debarred them from taking any further part in the playoff process if the SPFL were entirely sure.
No, I think it's more issues over sort of timing and what had to be applied for when and what grace periods were and so on. And what is interesting is done to East Kilbride's preparations. Did you see them taking to Twitter to say we're looking for a friendly next Friday? Any clubs give us a shout.
Yeah, because they're missed out in 2 games and they're having to obviously wait to prepare for whoever finishes bottom. I agree with Mark. I think East Kilbride will fancy it big time.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
St Johnstone 0, Hibs 1, and it is a cracking free kick from Marcondes. He has shown a bit of class at times since he made the move to Easter Road, 25 yards out, top corner. Nick Montgomery happy with that.
Well, the old charisma bypass man will be jumping up a wee bit, but he needs that, and it's bad for St Johnstone because they can't take their eye off the Ross County situation. They might be in trouble by 5 o'clock tonight, St Johnstone.
Oh, without doubt. We were chatting about it. Was it a couple of weeks ago? Was it last week? Who we fancy? I thought, it was last week, because I thought Ross County had enough at the top end of the pitch to get out it. I worried for St Johnstone, and that's a big goal early on.
Couple of chances at Pittodrie. Stephen O'Donnell shot saved by the legs of Kellarus. Junior Hoylett's curled one over the bar. Before we get distracted any further, let's do it, Hugh.
Okay.
The first half teaser
with the ScottishSun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Quite a lot to digest in this answer, so I'll go slowly. Since 2019, 7 players have made an appearance in a Scottish Cup final for a team outside of the Old Firm, and they have also played in the English Premier League at some point in their career. Since 2019, 7 players have made an appearance in a Scottish Cup final for a team out with the Old Firm. They have also played in the English Premier League at some point in their career.
I would go as far as to say that is the hardest first half teaser we've had this season. I don't think anyone's getting all 7. There you go. There's your challenge. Call it reverse psychology if you want. Let's see if you can step up to the plate, but I'm not sure someone's going to get all 7. I think that's extremely hard.
I thought that was a good answer.
No, I don't think so.
Did they not want it?
I suppose we could do end of season generosity, and the 3 people who make it onto the podium would be the 3 who get the most, correct? If no one gets all 7, there we go. That would be fair, because I do think that is very, very, very difficult. But anyway, challenge has been laid down. Let's go at Clyde SSB. Get your answers in. Ideally, we're looking for one tweet with all 7 on it at Clyde SSB.
So I started the day with poetry. Now I'm going into cruelty.
Why?
That's a toughie.
Alright, okay.
It's hard to think who was actually in the finals, in that period of time.
Well, I've got a couple.
You've got a couple already?
No, teams that are in the finals.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm just working out the players that play.
The jigsaw. Piece of jigsaw together.
I'm not really in the mood for a jigsaw this afternoon.
You're a bit jaded, are we? A bit tired. The sun's got to you this morning. I think
it got to me last night. I've got to say.
A late evening.
It was a brilliant evening, got to say.
Annan 0, Falkirk 1. Your man,
Invincibles.
your manager of the year candidate. Liam Henderson has scored.
You should be winning at Annan, but that's what champions do. They just keep on rolling.
There should be a special mention or a special programme or a special award, should I say, for the Falkirk 1 who wasn't nominated for the Player of the Year.
That's a sick
Ross McKeever.
Yeah.
I mean, how bad
what
are you
does he
feeling?
play centre forward? Where does McKeever play?
Imagine in the dressing room. Imagine
He's
the
an
boys.
attacking player, yeah.
Yeah,
Imagine the
attacking
boys
player.
saying to you,
There's 10 of
all
us.
picking up their medal, team of the year. Where's your medal?
Oh, you drive the
it's so
minibus.
harsh.
He's the minibus
Get the
driver.
teas in,
right?
would you, mate?
Yeah, you're a minibus driver on the night. The rest of us are going to celebrate.
Oh, Hugh, as usual, change that to 8 on your teaser.
Oh,
my goodness.
my
We're ending the
goodness.
season just the way we started it, by
Come on, Hugh.
making a pig's ear of your teaser every single week, which is just fantastic.
You need to do some more research.
If
Hugh.
you start, well, I was
He's missed one.
busy. I'm busy working on my poetry.
Yeah, your
yes.
poetry was brilliant, but it's all about the teasers.
I said it was hard already. Now we're looking for eight
Eight.
of those. Wow. Incredible. Very difficult.
I had to watch my iambic pentameter.
You could change it to 8, or here's a wee clue, right? You could do 6 Scots. Up to you. I'll let you decide. But we do 8, we go 6 Scots.
Listen,
Let's do 6 Scots. Right, that
Okay.
makes it more. I think that makes it more doable. Okay, since 2019, 6
In my nap.
Scottish players have played in a Scottish Cup final for a team out with the Old Firm, and have also played in the English Premier League. Fairer, I think. Okay. Let's rephrase it to that. If you're in any doubt, if you're as confused as we are, head over to Twitter at Clyde SSB, and you will see that question written down, and you can hold us to that, I think.
With M&D Green Pharmacy.
Livingston 1, Ross County 0. Livy fight on to try and stay in the Premiership, and it is Bruce Anderson. They have been the better side. It looked like it had been coming, a deserved opener. It was a Ryan Leake headed back pass. It fell short. Anderson latched onto it, lifted it over the goalkeeper, and it's Livy 1, Ross County 0.
well, fair play to them for showing character. Adam Binney told us there are very few people there, as we suspected there might be, but they are creating their own atmosphere. They're not going down without a fight.
The only thing I'd worry about, did they take the lead early against Hearts, was it, at Tynecastle?
2-0 up
2-0,
there against Hearts, yeah.
And then obviously the back door fell in, so it'll be interesting to see how Ross County approach that. I fancy Livingston this afternoon. I said it. I've something about them. They know they're going to be relegated. It's just when they can get out and play with a freedom that they should have been playing with a long time ago. So they're off to a terrific start.
Yeah, Livy 1, Ross County 0. We said earlier, didn't we, the English Premier League game, West Ham 2, Liverpool 2, title hopes probably over. Andy Robertson scored, by the way, but it was a tough day. Mo Salah was spotted arguing with Jurgen Klopp before he came on as a sub. And I like this, I just saw a quote appearing on Twitter. So he's walked through the mixed zone, which you'll be familiar with, Hugh. For those that don't know, and I'm sure you do, after big games like that, we don't really have them in league games here, but we have them in cups and internationals and European games. The journalists will all wait, the players will walk through, and you're kind of just chancing your arm. You're hoping they'll stop for you, hoping that they'll give you some thoughts. Salah has walked through the mixed zone, declined interview requests, and said, "If I speak today, there will be fire."
I like that.
Wee man.
I like that.
I get wonderful emotional comfort from Luka Modric once in the mix zone.
Oh,
Well, running out of time, deadlines when you're in the newspaper industry, deadlines are all important, and it was some guy was taking up too much time with it, and I've exploded, and Luka Modric came over and said, "Hey man, calm down."
Who's he from America?
Hold on a minute.
She flew into
Where's he picked
Chicago.
a accent up for?
Well,
What was another go at that?
That's what happens to you when you're a Croatian.
Hey man,
He did.
What?
He said to
he's
me,
cutting about the Bernabeu
He
with that
said,
American
was this
accent.
Croatia?
he said to me, "Hey man,
Was it international duty?
yeah,
Wow.
calm down."
And did you Because usually when someone tells you to calm down, it's the last thing you want to
when
hear.
When it's Luka Modric,
he does have that calming kind of
air
around him.
If it had been David Friel, I'd have said shut up, and we'd have moved on. But it was Luka Modric, and he was reaching out to me.
David Friel says you can't beat foreign players saying sorry I don't speak English after getting knocked back in the mix zone. You see all sorts, don't you? Who was the one that held his Diego Costa, was it, held his passport up to his ear to pretend he was on the phone to avoid everyone. I'm sure I've seen someone hold a shoe up as well. Is that not a famous one? No,
I heard it was it Chris Sutton. I heard that story. Chris Sutton did that.
Something like
Celtic
that.
Park one time.
Held a shoe up to his ear.
Thierry
Somebody
Henry
told me that. It may not be true, just in case.
Who was it scored
Chris
for
is
us?
tuned in.
We beat France at
Gary
Ham.
Caldwell.
Gary Caldwell.
Thierry Henry spat the dummy all over
he
the
went
mix zone, didn't he?
potty and shouting, I see you in Paris, I see you in Paris. And then of course,
How did that work out?
aye, how did
James
that work out, Thierry?
Faddy had other ideas. Arbroath 0, Queen's Park 1. Dom Thomas with the goal there.
Captain leading from the front. They need that as well, Queen's Park, because they've slipped down. So they need the 3 points. And
Quite tight at the bottom as well.
Yeah.
Inverness sitting there. Who are they playing today? Who have they got? Inverness. Thanks for helping me, boys.
Come
Cheers.
on.
you. Dunfermline away. You should
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah,
big one.
bars away.
But there was a time that Queen's Park looked like they were okay. When Calum came in, he looked like he steadied the ship. He brought in experience throughout the spine of the team. And then, a poor run has led them to that 9th place. And
I've got a derby today, boys, in the championship.
what derby?
Thistle there.
Of course, yeah. You're
Legend
so,
of both clubs.
Yeah, Thistle only need a point to confirm 3rd place. So, good luck to them. I think they'll get that today. Know what that's worth? 3rd place.
What?
75 grand more in payment. Yeah,
Which is a lot of
Which
money.
is a lot of money.
That's your
That'll
wages.
pay half my wage.
That could boost some of your salary.
Oh, four
You
for
must earn
two
a few
up in
quid there,
Stranraer,
you know?
Oh yes,
Are
yes,
you?
yeah.
You on a lot of
All
readies?
those Thistle fans will be chopped. I do it for free. I do it for the development of the players.
Oh, I used to spin that one at Wraith.
Ricky's pointing out it was Thomas Muller that did the passport to the ear trick. I stand corrected. It was some European football
We'll be
heavyweight.
seeing him in a
Anyway.
few weeks' time, won't we?
Yeah.
We get to hang about the mix zone? No? Are we not allowed anywhere
No.
near there?
We'll even be allowed near the stadium.
We're not even in Germany, mate.
We'll be out and about.
Will we go and watch training of just someone?
Yeah.
Just anyone?
We'll be out about in the city, meeting the people,
Oh, I
hanging
love
with the
meeting people.
fans.
We'll be in the Beefeater.
That's good. The Old Tarn Army are good fun, aren't they, when they're away?
I'm
We're
taking a
mixing with
kilt.
the locals.
I'm taking a kilt.
You got your jammies looked out yet, both
I'm
of you
going. I'm
two?
taking a kilt. I've never worn a kilt, but I'm going with a kilt.
For your jammies.
No, to get out and about.
That's a great shout.
I'm
I'd love
By
to
the
see
way,
you in
kilt
that.
up
I'm
high on
blending
match
right
day.
now.
Ah,
are we?
you two can I?
Oh, we.
You two
Are you-
can.
I've got the legs for it.
I've not got the legs for it, but I'm going for it. I don't care.
I don't know if I've ever seen your
Do
legs
you know what that
before.
means?
I'm there to be
Somebody
insulted.
has got in touch and said they'll give him a free kilt. That's,
No, they haven't.
that's basically what that means.
I
Have you cut
honestly
us in
can
the
say
deal?
no. They haven't. But if anybody's listening, I think that's a great idea. If you want a bit of promotion,
You're the guy that said you weren't even taking luggage. What are you going to do? You're going to wear it the full time?
yeah, that's all I'm wearing.
You missed this, Hugh. Money bags over here, acting like a billionaire. Genuinely, with the euros in mind, said to Mark and I, "Are you taking luggage?" And it's 12 days out in a foreign. Like, what's the alternative? And he said he wasn't taking any luggage. He's just going to go there, buy cheap clothes, and bin them before he leaves. Have you ever heard a man come up with so many daft ideas as him?
Also, have you ever gone shopping in Germany before?
Yeah, there'll always
Pricey.
be a place for cheap gear. I
No.
do.
Why not just take it? I cannot understand this.
I
What's
used
up
to-
with a case?
I
A
used
bag?
That's a pain in the backside, right? I used to do that in Spain. See, when I used to go to Spain, get all the cheap clobber over there and just bin it
You know
back
what?
on the plane.
See, when you think about it, it's
a
not a
great
bad idea.
mate. All
And
you
on
need is
day
cheap
one,
shorts and t-shirts.
Day one, if you just find a shop and and it saves you lugging your
Oh,
case
the
about,
lug-
and the price you pay for a case now on the plane.
And then when you come home, you have no washing.
He's no paying for the case, is he?
Aye, I
On
know.
this occasion.
Aye, I know.
Nah,
It's good. I was on Charlie Mulgrew's Stag Do, and Paddy McCourt was feeling a bit worse for wear on the airport running the way home, and he had his case full of stuff and pulled up at the airport. He said to the taxi driver, "Here, mate, just keep my case. I don't even want it." Keep his He was that hungover.
No way.
I swear. It's a story that follows him about all the time. He was that hungover that he couldn't be bothered wheeling his case about the airport. He said to the taxi driver, just you have it.
Oh, I love that.
That's quite something, right? Keep the answers are now coming in on the teaser, Hugh. I think people are getting the gist of it. So we're looking for, since 2019, on you go, six
players who have made an appearance in a Scottish Cup final for a team out with the Old Firm and have also played in the English Premier League at some point in their career. Who are they?
And they have to be Scottish, of course.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
since 2019, 6 Scotsmen have played in the Scottish Cup final for a team outside the Old Firm and have played in the English Premier League at some point in their career. Keep your guesses coming, please.
Got one.
You got one? Who is it? Let's see.
Yes, Hugh.
Yeah, correct.
I think so, yeah.
In amongst the talk of
Hard
Gordon
one.
Dalziel's underwear and what he is or isn't packing, you missed a VAR check for a handball in the Motherwell box, but nothing doing there, so on we go. So I know it feels like every handball check ends in a penalty, but not on this occasion. Still Killie 0, Hearts 0 as well. Danny Armstrong causing one or two difficulties down the right hand side, as he has done all season.
He's had a terrific season.
He won Kelly Player of the Year, do
Did
you
he?
think? No, will he? Because it's Player of the Year
I think
awards
theirs has
for
been done.
in club. Did he win it?
I don't know, but
I see
I would be
Majorski won
very,
the Aberdeen one.
I'd be very surprised if he didn't. Goal scorers always win it every year. I won it 9 years in a row at Wraith Rovers.
9 years in a row?
It was the most bonus.
No,
As many as 9.
9 in a row every year.
What's the point?
The 6'5" mascot at Dumbarton, incidentally, is a failure. They're a goal down already.
To Elgin, yes they are. Edinburgh City 0, Stirling Albion 1, Dale Carrick with the goal, Kelty 0, Montrose 1, Blair Lions with the goal. So keep an eye on all the moves that can be made in the lower leagues, because it is getting to that time of the season. Edinburgh City down already, Stirling Albion looking to avoid the playoffs, and we'll keep an eye. Keep the answers coming in on that teaser at Clyde SSB. Do you know what, a tweet I got last night which made me laugh? So were you out and about last night? Were you?
Oh no, somebody see me, somebody spot me.
City Centre.
I was
Listen, a man of your standing in the local community.
Do you know something?
You can't go out on a Friday night in Glasgow City Centre and expect people not to
Do you know
report
what
back to me.
I've realised, right? Honestly, I'm famous, right? I have no everybody. I was at Kevin Maguire's concert last night. I've got to say, Kevin, if you're listening, absolutely brilliant. You were out of tune a wee bit, but you got it back. You held it together. It was superb. One up and coming star this boy's got to be. Anyway, I was
Get a
there to
taxi up
support
the road after it. How'd you get back to Motherwell?
I got a taxi back. Yeah.
How much?
54.
Did you phone Red?
Plus tip.
Did you phone Red Line or did you get a local?
I
Glasgow
just got a local taxi. I
Phone
wasn't.
it
I
on the
wasn't.
app, What was the
Because
drive?
I'm a celebrity.
What kind of car was it?
A Ford Mondeo.
What was the driver's name?
Jake.
Did you definitely get a taxi back? Did you?
Yeah, Jake the taxi driver.
Just
Yeah,
checking.
Jake or Jackie's. I couldn't understand.
Well, it's easy to get confused when you're lying, I suppose.
Yeah. But I've got to say, I wasn't chancing the train. No, with this fame now.
On a scale of 1 to
right.
10, how famous are you?
Hugh, I'm getting stopped in the street for selfies now.
Anyway, Sean Toogood sent me this, and I just love the subtlety of it, because he's been genuine. He says, met Gordon Dalziel in the Sir John Moore tonight. I don't know what everyone talks about. The man's an absolute gentleman. As if there are people out there that think you're a bad man.
Does people say bad things about me?
Must. Unknown to me. But think
you
about
must
it.
have heard that.
Met Gordon Dalziel tonight. Don't know what everyone talks about. The man's a gentleman. So then you must have a reputation for not being.
Yeah. And the Sir John, is that the one in the corner, the pub in the corner? Just the Central Station
opposite the Radisson.
Yeah, that's the one.
Where is it?
Do you remember being in there last night?
No.
It was a good night indeed.
Oh, I think I do. What's the boy's name?
Sean.
Yeah, I do remember speaking to Sean.
Sounds very much like you don't quite
Take up the road.
I think that was early. I was only early out then. I wasn't out. I was early out.
Right, okay.
So what kind of songs?
Oh, Wagon Wheel with George Berry.
I need to know
Oh, is
more.
that- that's him?
Baby,
I need
like
to
a
know more
wagon
about this though.
wheel.
I don't know what everyone talks about. Gordon Dalziel is a nice guy. That
Everybody.
means that people must be.
I'm hurt.
They must be saying the opposite. Well, that must be
people-
the word on the street.
People are talking about my back, aren't they? They're going, by the way, he's alright.
He slandered some poor television guy in another pub.
No, I didn't. I was having a bit of a laugh.
Let's not go
A
on
bit
to
of
that.
laugh.
I think that's probably for the best
A bit of humour, Glasgow humour.
You're from Motherwell.
that we avoid that.
Motherwell humour.
Oh my word! So Quinn has been back on.
The mighty.
He sent me the picture of
Is there a picture?
the 6'5" Dumbarton mascot. He's the mascot today to celebrate his head wetting. Well, not his head, presumably his child's head wetting. Honestly,
Let's
check that.
That's
a
good.
lovely
That is
photo.
incredible, isn't it?
And who's the captain of Dumbarton? Let's hope it's a
big centre half.
He sent the
just
picture
you,
out,
you
his
want to be
hand,
striker.
he's hand in hand between two players leading the team
No
out.
way,
That's
mate.
brilliant. That's brilliant.
Oh, goodness.
Oh dear me.
Well done to him.
Did you ever do anything like that, Mark, when you were young?
Were you a
Mascot?
mascot?
Mascot, no, I would have loved to have been a mascot, but never did get the
Demand
opportunity.
Demand at Celtic would have been pretty high. wouldn't
Aye,
it?
didn't get the opportunity. Would have loved to have been a ball boy as well, but
What
nah,
game
I
was you
overlooked.
mascot, Gordon?
No, I was never mascot.
Never?
Just ball boy for a couple of seasons.
Tell me something. Did you get paid for being a ball boy?
No,
Seriously,
it's
mate.
like 11.
You still get paid. I used to do the papers. Get paid.
No,
That's his job.
just the sort of the
So it's a ball boy.
a
No, it's
pie,
not.
Yeah, it is.
a pie and a
pie.
tracksuit.
Perfect.
A
That's
tracksuit and a pie.
Probably gave the tracksuit back now that I think about it. But aye,
Queen's Part 2 up now.
yeah, Killian Sheridan with the goal.
I wouldn't be running about if I was
for nothing at
For-
11-year-old.
No
Of
chance.
course you would.
You're 9 or 10, 11. You're getting into the game.
You've not got an agent demanding.
Not
but
everybody's
these
as
are
cynical as you.
Even pocket money or something would have been nice.
The
What
away
did
fans
you
would
actually do the papers?
Yeah.
Did you?
The
Oh,
away
mate.
fans would sometimes throw money at you, so you could try
There
and
you go,
collect
that's
that.
a
if you
purse.
wanted.
There you go. I was the worst paper boy in the world, man.
What papers did you deliver?
Aye.
Evening Times.
No, Daily Records, Sunday Mails, all that kind of. But I honestly, I couldn't do it. Couldn't carry the
That
bag.
doesn't surprise me.
And then I got all the addresses wrong. I was horrific. And then I became a milkman on the floor. Right, I was a
Why
bit.
does this
Archie
not
was
surprise me?
my milk driver, right?
Confessions of a Milkman.
And I
Is there
used
not a
to-
film?
But here, I could carry 6 bottles of milk.
I bet you
Right.
could.
Is anything he says true though? I can't keep
No,
up.
there's a way of doing it. Put it in your fingers, right? 3 there, 3 there. Archie would put them in, and away I'd go. Right, 2 at number 14, 1 at number 16, and right. And
Right,
you
hold
go
on. How would you, if you had 6 bottles of milk?
3 and 3.
Right, how do you put one down?
Quite easy. Just put them down there.
Glass
open your finger.
bottles at
Glass
the time.
bottles.
I suppose,
Glass
back in your
bottles,
day.
right?
We
And
need
then
Chris to get 6
and
glass
a
bottles of milk
Thursday-
to put us to the test.
Thursday you used to go round, chat their door, and say milk money, and they would give you a wee. Oh, it was
Wee bung.
a wee bung. It was a great job. The 6 bottle man, they called me. Me and Archie.
Anyway, Edinburgh City have equalised against Stirling Albion. The Dumbarton mascots having a mare. Elgin City are 2 up there.
It might
The
bring him
Rock.
on at this rate. Get on, big man. Centre half.
Shore things up a bit. It's entirely possible.
Rags to riches.
Right,
Tail.
still Killie nil, Hearts nil. Derek McInnes and Stephen Naismith are both out in the touchline barking orders, trying to get some motivation into their team. St Johnstone nil, Hibs 1. The Mercondes free kick separates the sides. Goalless Aberdeen, Motherwell, and Bruce Anderson showing that at the moment still a bit of fight left in Livy. They lead Ross County at home.
Wonder what the future holds for those Livy players. You know, guys like Bruce Anderson, who's been around the block a long time, but when Livy go down and the finances diminish even further,
Their wages
what
go
does their
down.
squad look like? You know,
Well, Davy Martindale said that during the week that he anticipated 15 players will be going in the summer. 15.
I'll tell you, I think Livy will find it very difficult to come
To get back up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
you're
I think they're in a bad
correct.
place now. They'll lose. Obviously, they'll not be able to pay. They'll be paying championship wages. They've not got that much money. So,
And there are court cases pending as well that will be never a help and take money out of the club rather than put it in.
yeah, it's not a good sign. But at least they're still battling on. They're still
Davy
winning.
Martindale will stay because when he and I spoke in front of an audience, he told me that he will stay. There's, relegation. He will take it upon himself to try and get Livy back up again.
Don't Don't get me wrong, I think he's looked in the mirror and had a great debate that he was not getting sacked, and he's made that decision that he's going to stay. Who would actually sack Davey himself?
Might just decide enough's enough though, no?
Nah, he
After
loves the game
stress
too
of it.
much, Davey Martindale. I've got a lot of time. People that don't know him, he's unlike people that are saying bad things about me. David Martindale's a lovely gentleman.
But you're asking why ball boys don't get payment. I mean, this is why
I think it's only fair, Hugh. You're
Was
doing
it
a job.
Not so long ago, he was linked, or did St Johnstone ask permission to speak to him before Craig Levine came in? Have I got that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You just wonder if Davey regrets
that.
at the minute not pushing that forward and saying he would like to speak to St Johnstone.
Probably
Just because of how stable St Johnstone are as a club. I know.
I bet you could get. Listen, don't take St Johnstone. You could get 2 teams relegated in one season now.
Palmerston Pep's a goal up. We can all rest easy.
Oh, you have Wednesday off,
it.
Hugh.
Right.
He needs it. Still plenty of time for it to go wrong.
That's normally one of my replies.
Safe, is he not? Is he safe?
No, he's
no.
He's in the. He's 3 points off.
He'll be alright.
If he gets a win today, he's fine. That's him.
He'll be okay.
No tracksuit now.
In the charity shop.
It was Jordan Houston who scored the goal for the Palmerston Pep. So they do indeed lead 1-0. Still waiting on a breakthrough at Rugby Park. Killian Hearts.
Nothing happening at Pataudry. All quiet. It was a thrilling game the last time, wasn't it? Up there.
When you consider
3 up by this time, are they not?
When you consider Aberdeen last Saturday at Hampden against Celtic, I mean, the real spirited performance, and I'm a little surprised because we had a good crowd at Pataudry's today.
I've actually had various other sightings of you, and Stephen Hill wants you to confirm that it was you buying red wine in Annie's Land Morrison's the other night.
Correct.
There you go.
I mean, that's
to be had.
That's just an order. That's like
Morrison's Annie's Land would close if I didn't go in there.
Yeah.
Right, come on then. We really could be doing with more goals. Killian Hearts, just to try and G us up a bit. Hearts, they'll be hurting a bit, Gordon, after the performance last week. I mean, you go into that game as underdogs and then you don't win it, so it's never going to be like a huge story. Rangers should win that fixture more times than they don't. But, Hearts, they'll have regrets because they got into areas and then just didn't manage to make them count.
Yeah, they were terrible in the final third, I've got to say. They were better in the second half. You're looking at a Rangers team that come off 2 poor results. A little bit of pressure was added to Rangers, and the fact that obviously they couldn't afford to lose the semi-final against Hearts. But Hearts offered, the first half to me, they offered nothing. I think there will be regrets because they've got good players, they've had a good season. They just didn't live up to the bill.
There was a check for a Livingston penalty. Ooh. Bruce Anderson went down. It did look a bit soft, and the check confirms that, so no penalty. There's one to just maybe keep an eye on. Bristol City 1, Rotherham 0. Tommy Conway with the goal. If the Scotland squad goes to 26, if Stevie Clark's looking for another striker that's had a good season, would it be logical to go to someone who's in the Scotland under-21 squad already and has scored a fair few in the Championship for Bristol City this season?
The Championship's a real good level.
Yeah.
It's not as if he's playing junior football. Yeah, so we could be doing with an alternative to Lawrence Shankland.
Well, I mean, Lyndon Dykes and Shea Adams are nailed on. I saw Lyndon Dykes scored last night actually as well. That'll be Tommy Conway's 12th of the season mark. He is only 21, playing in the Championship at your old club, of course, as well.
Oh yeah, Mull stomping ground. I do think it's a position that needs a wee bit of inspiration. I think we've seen Dykes and we've seen Adams enough, and Shanklin we can all agree on.
If it was 26, if it's 23, realistically I don't think Tommy Conway makes it, but maybe.
Well, everyone loves a young player coming through the ranks and being promoted to the national team, especially in that striker position where heroes can be made instantly. Now imagine he gets in and he gets some game time and he manages to score a goal, then his life changes overnight. Might be a wee bit of a stretch at the minute, but he's certainly put himself in the frame.
Interestingly as well, in the same game for the same team, Ross McCrory, remember him? He's playing right wing back again today.
We're struggling down that side.
It's either Ross McCrory or Mark Wilson at this stage, unless Aaron Hickey does make it and some others.
See, if I was using the extra players, I would be looking at probably wide players. I said that earlier.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. The right wing back issue we might not even be talking extra space. Even if it's 23, we might have issues there with Aaron Hickey and Nathan Patterson.
Yeah, that would be a massive blow, especially Hickey.
I think by the sounds of it, he's going to be
but he's not played
available, but he won't have played.
That's the problem. Unless adrenaline gets you through the games, obviously that would happen.
Is there a scenario that we find one of just the current crop, a midfielder, then filling in? Because what is the point?
Though, because that's as Gordon says, that we don't have even wide. You know, if James Forrest was in the squad, you might stick him there. It might be fine.
Yeah, but what's the alternative? Anthony Ralston's in there at the minute. Now, Anthony Ralston doesn't play football. You know, for Celtic, he gets odd minutes here and there, but he's in the squad. So does he just automatically go in, or do we play somebody that's playing at a high level every week, but a midfielder?
But genuinely, which one though? Because they're all so central, aren't they?
I know that. I'm thinking, you know what? Instantly, I'm thinking McTominay, but you take away his threat.
Wing back.
I know, but you take away his threat going forward. I know, but I'm just thinking who would be more able to adapt. He's played right centre back. He's got that fitness. He's comfortable in the ball that you need to be. I know it's out there, but do you take a Stephen O'Donnell and a Ralston? I don't think you do. Ralston will be there, but I don't think then you go back to O'Donnell as McCrory. I don't know.
Big goal for Clyde. They're 1 up.
Clyde 1 up in his Fife. Martin Rennie with the goal. Remember, that's the race to avoid getting relegated out of the SPFL, or certainly avoid the playoffs. Steve Clark was at QPR to watch Lyndon Dykes last night, incidentally, if you saw him getting among the goals.
What a pounding they gave.
Incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
who did they beat last night?
Leeds 4-0.
4-0 Leeds.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Second top Leeds. Second top and worried Leeds.
Oh, didn't see that coming.
Lewis Mayo has been booked for a challenge on Kenneth Vargas. That's about as exciting as it's getting at Kilmarnock at the moment. No real chances, not much closer to a goal, it has to be said. Stephen Kingsley did fire it across a couple of moments ago, but didn't really come to much. There was a bit of a drama, mild drama, for Hibs. There was a free kick on the edge of the box, and they then went to check if it was inside or not. So remember, in that instance, the penalty would then just be given. The ref wouldn't be asked to go over to the monitor, because it's just a question of in or out, a factual decision, as they say. But it was outside. Marcondes again, this time over the bar, so not got the same magic in his boots as they did in the first attempt at goal.
But at least it's something for them that they are a goal in front. As I say, we had the debate on Nick Montgomery. I don't think any of us can save him, but he would certainly require to come out of Perth with all 3 points while the debate goes on.
They seem to like to change the manager, Hibs, don't they? They're all over the place. They're even talking about,
they make bad choices though.
They're talking about bringing in someone above Brian McDermott as well.
Yeah.
I don't see what the structure is. I have no idea what they're
looking good
to
today for what it's worth.
Look, I know that he's not had the greatest season, but I do believe that Hibs, with decent defenders in the summer, could be a decent team next season.
There's the best chance of the game at Rugby Park. It was George Grant. Will Dennis saves to deny him. It's not had loads of chances, so the bar was set pretty low, but that was the best opportunity of this game so far.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised at that, really, because you look at these two teams. Hearts pretty nailed on for third, and when you crash out the cup in the fashion that they did, the players' minds are probably wandering already to the end of the season now. With probably the exception of Xander Clark, Gordon and Shanklin to
Cammy Devlin hits the bar as well, so Hearts are getting a bit closer.
Yep, but look, the disappointment will still be there with Hearts, no doubt about it. Very little to play for now, apart from those players I just mentioned for the Euros. So I didn't think there'd be much action there at Rugby Park today.
Yeah, well, it is a bit cagey so far, but as we reach that sort of 37th minute mark, maybe a bit beyond, it looks like the away side are the most likely at the moment. That's a couple of chances in quick succession.
Yeah, a good game down there. First goal will be so important. You know, two teams that have had two terrific seasons. the manager's doing very well. So I'm sure anybody at that game will be looking for some goals, but they're certainly getting some excitement. I'm going to give clues out there to people in the quiz. I'm sure we've just been speaking about one of the answers.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
There you go, Hugh. I'm on the ball.
Steny 1, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Gregor Buchanan. Stenhousemuir, of course, already wrapped that title up.
But Bonnyrigg Rose could yet come into the playoff conundrum. They're above Stranraer by 2 points. Not out the woods yet.
Yes, at that stage of the season, gets a bit nervy for lots of teams involved. You can see hopes going up in smoke like we did earlier on with Liverpool down south. We've got enough on our plate up here, it has to be said.
Well, when you see Virgil van Dijk on the verge of tears, as he was at full time, you know that they know the jig's up so far as Liverpool are concerned. No title for them.
It's amazing to think that they were going for the quadruple
Yeah,
at one
they've
point, and then they
collapsed,
just
haven't they?
collapse. But it goes to show you it can even affect the top players in the world. So when we think about our teams up here and think they'll just sail through every game, it's different when the pressure's applied and you know you're almost at the finish line and you start second guessing passes and a couple of strange mistakes start creeping in. That's what this time of the season does for you when you're contesting a league championship.
Let's remind ourselves of the teaser, please, Hugh.
Okay, can you tell me the 6 Scottish players who've made an appearance in a Scottish Cup final for a team out with the Old Firm and have also played in the English Premier League at some point in their career?
Outside the Old Firm, some people are missing that point. Some people are missing the fact that it's Scots only. So as an example, Robbie has thrown in Kieran Tierney.
No.
Very much for an Old Firm team for Celtic,
Yes.
so they don't count. The same as Gordo Dunk. Wow, that name.
Oh.
He's gone for Alan McGregor, but that would have been for Rangers.
Correct.
So that doesn't. These are not on the list. I can see lots of you getting really close, some nailing it all together. Graham Wilson wants to throw in our pal Andy Halliday.
Played for Rangers.
Well, no, he played in the final for Hearts, but
never
no
played in
English
Premier
Premier League
No.
appearances. Graham Wilson also throws in Jamie Walker of Hearts. It's not on your list, is it?
No.
Okay, and various shouts. Amphi Rapport wants to go for John McGinn.
Not there.
He was my first one. Had to score out.
Why is he not there?
Why is he not on there?
2016 was it?
Oh, so of course, there we are. The time
Palmerston Pep 2 up.
Was that when Hibs 2016?
Yeah, 8 years ago.
2016, 8 years.
Yeah.
You mentioned it earlier.
Hold
Yeah.
on, David Gray's header.
Yeah.
If you want a clue, they're actually all Hibs and Hearts. Now that I look at it,
Yeah.
didn't really expect that, but they're all Hibs and Hearts players. If that helps you
Where's
in
the
any way,
time gone?
I know. Tell me about it.
I was at that game.
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that's.
That's unbelievable. I've not aged.
Did you mention the Dunfermline goal? Did I miss that in amongst the?
Yeah, they're 1-1
They are.
I've no idea. My sister was over from New York midweek and they'd spotted yous at the Carrick playing golf.
Did they?
They were there. They were there. At
Hold
Spa.
on. At what hole? Because we had a bit of drama.
Yeah. I hope they didn't spot us at the 17th.
17th. Exactly.
Did they?
Yeah, they need an
I
umbrella.
thought they would have
spotted you at the 17th.
I thought they'd have said hello.
No, they spotted you from a distance, and my sister, who doesn't watch a live stream or anything like that, just hears the voices. But the last time I think she saw a picture of us together, you had
careful
brilliant.
there.
And
Dark
he
hair.
says, "I've seen a guy with white hair." I said, "That's Gordon Dale." She's like, "No, we had to get 2 pictures because I was out for dinner on Wednesday. I had to get 2 pictures and say, there he is there, and there he is now."
So,
and to be fair,
She says I'm handsome
says
now.
you're-
Yeah, I totally
well,
agree
your
with that.
head's better now. The top of your head.
I like your sister. Where's she from? She Cardiff?
She's from Glasgow.
Yeah, but she's living somewhere in America, you know.
You
New
said
York.
New York.
New York. Yeah,
Sorry,
she's
sorry.
Brooklyn. Yeah, we're on our way home just now.
safe journey.
But it's amazing. She says, "How did that happen?" So I had to go into the story that the end of season.
It's quite easy to
He's
understand
brown.
how it happened. They just stopped dyeing his
No,
hair.
I did not. I just went natural.
Or then I said
What, in the
he
space
maybe
of
dies at this
4
colour.
weeks?
I was no, don't. It's the sun. It just goes natural. That's my natural hair that's coming
Brown.
through.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Maybe that Hibs statement did light a fire under Nick Montgomery because they lead 2-0 now at St Johnstone. and it's the experienced head of Paul Hanlon. Hasn't always been part of the first team this season, but terrible defending. St Johnstone don't clear. A low finish from Paul Hanlon, and it's St Johnstone 0, Hibs 2. That shakes things up a bit.
Well, and Ross County should look at that score line and get a move on against Livy, because they could damage St Johnstone today, but they're losing to Livy, and it's getting tight down there.
It's getting very nervous, I've got to say that.
Surely not another 2-2 on the cards though for Hibs. I know they're the specialists,
they love a 2-2, don't they?
I wouldn't say so.
Does St Johnstone have that in them?
I truly believe they don't have it in them. And then, you know, however these next few games go, you then look at Craig Levein and you go, was it the right appointment? You know, it was just, I think everyone was splitting that one, or a lot of people were split, saying no, it was too old school, what would Craig add? And then others were saying it was a safe pair of hands, he knew how to operate, and he got a bit of a tune out of them right away, but it's went the other way now. And if they go into that playoff, I think whoever finishes in the playoff position coming up the way will fancy themselves against St Johnstone.
I'm about to draw the line under the first half teaser, so just quickly, James McGrory wants to throw Stephen Fletcher's name into the mix.
He's not there.
Right, okay. We will announce the winners in the not too distant future. We'll maybe do it during the half-time break. Oh, Hugh, you taking the award away. Annan have equalised against Falkirk.
Willie Gibson.
No. Willie Gibson penalty.
He's
still
older than
going
me,
strong.
you know.
Still
he's been a
going
manager.
strong. Well, some people don't retire in their early 30s.
Well, some people have knees.
Yeah, he was at Queen of South, wasn't he?
He was Queen of South manager.
He was. Dante Polvara from just outside the box shoots over the bar for Aberdeen.
Polvara was good last week, wasn't he?
I can't take the award away from John McGlynn. He just needs to stay invincible. A draw would retain the prospect of that being the case.
To be fair, it used to be in the awards that every manager throughout the leagues won their league, got manager of the year. Manager of
Just
division.
lacks imagination, that.
Yeah, I'm the only one.
Wait, when did that stop? When did that?
I was the only
who
one.
bucked the trend?
I was the only one that never got it.
You know what? I
But it's a
wish
joint
I was
manager
there that
award
night.
now, isn't it? The managerial award is across all the divisions.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I was there that
Mate,
night.
I was
To see you like Dick Campbell.
Oh, I was.
Bet you were going round the tables going, yeah, got my speech. It's been a great season, boys.
Oh, won the league.
Blair Spittles had a header saved easily by Kellerus. We've got our first half-time whistle. It's at Livingston.
Yeah, half time at the Tony Macaroni Arena. It's Livingston 1, Ross County 0. We all thought that today would be the day that Livingston would finally be relegated to the Scottish Championship, but it's looking like that might not be the case. Bruce Anderson put the Lions ahead after 12 minutes. Ryan Leake's headed back pass to his goalkeeper was short, and Anderson latched onto it before then lifting the ball over Ross Laidlaw in the Ross County goal. Anderson nearly had an opportunity to double his and his side's tally a few minutes later. Daniel Mackay's right-footed low cross from the right of the box was cleared at the front post by Ryan Leake to prevent an Anderson tap-in. Don Kiwi's Staggies have only really had one sight of goal. A misjudged header from Livy defender Ayo Obalai was intended for Shamal George, but it was met first by Josh Sims coming in from the left-hand side. But there was Shamal George quick out from his goal to produce the save. County then started to take control of this first half, but Livy nearly caught them on the break. Daniel Mackay's effort after a Bruce Anderson cutback was tame though, and easily saved by Ross Laidlaw. Livy are playing well. Is this a team playing with the freedom that perhaps comes with a club who feel like their season is already over, or is this a side who actually still believe that survival is possible? Maybe, just maybe, we are seeing the beginning of a Davy Martindale miracle. Half time, Livingston 1, Ross County 0.
And it's also half time at Pittodrie. Here's Dave Galloway.
Half time, Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 0. Early chances carved out at both ends for Motherwell. Stephen O'Donnell's shot was saved by the legs of Kellerus, and Junior Hoylett's curling effort went over the bar for Aberdeen. Jack McKenzie crossed to the back post, but Bojan Mijovski couldn't connect properly despite his acrobatics, and Georgie Gent's cross was headed just over by Blair Spittle. Both sides having a go, playing some nice stuff, but neither keeper seriously tested in this opening period. Into added time, and Dante Polvara nearly put the hosts ahead, but his full-blooded drive just cleared the crossbar. There was still time though for Blair Spittle to have a chance with a header, but it was easily saved by Kellerus. It's been a decent first half, some decent entertainment, some nice football, but the match really hasn't quite caught fire yet. Hopefully we'll see the net bulge after the break. At the interval though, it's Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 0.
Yeah, hopefully Dave Galloway gets some more goalmouth action in that second half. Maybe we used it all up in that dramatic 3-3 draw between the sides at Pittodrie earlier on in the season. There was a delay at Rugby Park. Benny Beningame was down getting treatment for quite some time, and just trying to shake off. In fact, he won't shake it off. He's going to be withdrawn just before the break. So that's the delay in that one. Still not finished St Johnstone against Hibs yet either. So maybe we will. Maybe let's just do this right now. Do we have a podium for the teaser, or will we do it? We'll do it during the halftime break. I can see producer Chris scrambling. We could do it during the halftime break. Don't worry. We'll revert to the original plan, but still no other halftime whistles to tell you about. Roger Hannah, of course, is the man watching Kilmarnock against Hearts. That late Benny Beningame substitution is the delay. I think that came within the 2 added minutes as well, so that'll add on a bit more.
Dave Galloway's used one of the great journalistic understatements there. The game hasn't quite caught fire yet. That's another way of saying it's murder.
Yeah, I mean, it's that time of the season for some, for one or two. The good thing about the split is most do have something to play for. Maybe the Motherwell, can they get dragged in? You wouldn't have thought so, Gordon Dalziel.
No.
So
I don't see Motherwell getting dragged into it, but I would see if Aberdeen lost. And the results, to be fair, St Johnstone and Ross County are going brilliantly for Motherwell and Aberdeen. So if it continues like that, then no, they're getting
half time. Rugby Park. Here's Roger Hannah.
Yeah, in interval, Gordon, Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0, surprisingly one-sided, and only the frame of the goal denying Stephen Naismith's Hearts the lead at the break here at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock started off okay. Matty Kennedy was off target from an angle at the corner of the box after 17 minutes, but once Hearts got on top of the game, there was no holding them back. Kenny Vargas hit the bar after a 1-2 with Lawrence Shanklin after 23 minutes. Vargas then dumped by Lewis Mayo, and that earned the first booking for the Kilmarnock centre back. A terrific point blank save by Will Dennis, the Killie keepers, from George Grant moments later. That was the best chance of the game, but then 60 seconds after that, Cammy Devlin, a curling right foot shot from just inside the box, came back off that crossbar again to deny the Jambos the opener. Devlin had another chance at the back post moments later, but he just couldn't get his feet sorted out quickly enough, and that opportunity was gone. Then Joe Wright, the second Killie defender, into referee Ross Hardy's book for taking down Shanklin on the near side. The only trouble for Hearts, just an added time at the end of the first half. Benny Beningame going down in the centre of the park, lengthy treatment, he hobbled off with young Macaulay Tate coming on. There was still a chance though, one last chance for Hearts before the half-time whistle went, and it was great defending by Mayo inside his own 6-yard box to somehow smuggle away a dangerous low cross from Alec Cochrane. Hearts have been terrific. The only thing lacking is the breakthrough. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0.
David Friel says he's got no idea where the added time's coming from, but we are now finished at McDermott Park. David?
Yeah, half time, St Johnstone 0, Hibs 2. We spoke before the game, Gordon, about the Hibs board making their statement last week. Well, I think the players are making one this week. St Johnstone have been awful, but Hibs have been excellent and could have 3 or 4 really. Nick Montgomery's squad took a lot of stick for failing to make the top 6, and they've clearly had a point to prove today, and they're doing it so far. They were ahead after just 6 minutes. Emiliano Marcondes putting in an early goal of the weekend contender. What a goal it was. Martin Boyle went down under Dan Phillips' challenge about 25 yards out. Marcondes took over, nobody else was taking that free kick, and you can see why. He curled a stunning effort into the top corner. Dimitar Mitov had no chance. St Johnstone almost equalised immediately when Adama Sidibe, he was sent through, but David Marshall made a good save, but that's as close as they have come. Hibs have been really good. They hit the woodwork on the break. Marcondes played in and Mayalida, he hit the bar from a narrow angle. Mayalida's a big threat coming off that left wing. He won a free kick in the edge of the box after some great skill in 35 minutes. Marcondes again took the free kick. This time he curled over the bar, but Hibs just kept creating chances. Martin Boyle here on the full length of the pitch, almost certainly from his own half, burst through, but tried to be clever with a chip, and Dimitar Mitov saved this time. But Paul Hanlon, on as a sub for the injured Will Fish, did make it 2-0 just minutes before the break with a low finish after some awful St Johnstone defending. St Johnstone fans, they weren't happy. Loud boos at half time. They are not happy at all with what they've seen. Craig Levine needs a big reaction in the second half. Half time, St Johnstone 0, Hibs 2.
And we'll do a full roundup of the half-time scores next.
The fastest goals, the expert opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half-time scores across the country then. Let's start with the Scottish Premiership as always. At the break it currently sits Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 0, Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0, Livingston 1, Ross County 0, and St Johnstone 2, Hibs St Johnstone 0, Hibs 2, my apologies. Into the Championship, Arbroath 0, Queen's Park 3, Dunfermline 1, Inverness Cally Thistle 0, Morton 0, Wraith Rovers 0, Partick Thistle 0, Ayr United 0. In League 1, Alloa 0, Hamilton Accies 1, Annan Athletic 1, Falkirk 1, Edinburgh City 1, Stirling Albion 1, Kelty Hearts 0, Montrose 1, and Queen of the South 2, Cove Rangers 0. In League 2, Clyde 1, East Fife 0, Dumbarton 1, Elgin City 2, Forfar 2, Stranraer 0, Stenhousemuir 1, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, and the Spartans 1, Peterhead 1. In the English Premier League, if you're interested, it finished West Ham 2, Liverpool 2. At the break, it's Fulham 0, Crystal Palace 0, Man United 0, Burnley 0, Newcastle 1, Sheffield United 1, and Wolves 1, Luton 0. Let's do the answers to the first half teaser. Hugh Keevins, if you are ready.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Since the 2019 final, 6 Scottish players have played in a Scottish Cup final for a non-Old Firm team and played in the English Premier League at some point in their career. They are Stephen Kingsley, who did it with Hearts and also played for Swansea. Craig Gordon did it for Hearts and played for Sunderland. Jamie Murphy with Hibs and played for Brighton. Stephen Naismith, Hearts and played for Everton. Christoph Berra, Hearts and Wolves. And Aaron Hickey, Hearts and Brentford.
Good list that. Well done if you got it right, and lots of people did, so the knowledge out there is as impressive as ever. Third place was Gordon M777. Second place Sideshow Bob, and the winner was Michael Donati. However, a special mention to Jamie McCarry. We're not entirely sure, Jamie. We think Jamie might have even answered first with all the correct answers, but then deleted the tweet, or the tweet doesn't seem to exist anymore. But there you go, fight it out amongst yourselves. Congratulations. We'll have a second half teaser, funnily enough, because the second halves will be coming up next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Audi. Hop by the Glasgow, Hamilton, Ayr, Stirling or Edinburgh Lookers Audi between the 25th and 29th of April to take advantage of enhanced offers on the fully electric range.
Hi, it's Tim Burgess with a special announcement about my listening party on Absolute Radio. So far, we've heard stories behind classic records by New Order, U2, The Kinks, Def Leppard, Catatonia, Tis Fear, Simple Minds, The, and a great band called The Charlatans. I swear I didn't write this. Well, I'm really pleased to say that I'll be back with new episodes and new listening parties. So search Tim's Listening Party wherever you get your podcasts. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for season 4 and more stories behind iconic albums.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Audi. Hop by the Glasgow, Hamilton, Ayr, Stirling or Edinburgh Lookers Audi between the 25th and 29th of April to take advantage of enhanced offers on the fully electric range. Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dale are poised and ready for the second half action to begin. We could do with some more goals at Rugby Park where it is goalless. Hearts have dominated things. We could do with some more goals at Pittodrie where there's really not much in it at all. Goalless there. St Johnstone 0, Hibs 2. Craig Levine's not having a good afternoon, and Livy beating Ross County as well as they look to either prolong their stay in the division or kickstart a miraculous comeback. We're already underway in some of the games, so much so that Falkirk have taken the lead. Annan 1, Falkirk 2, Liam Henderson with the goal. So let's get these second halves truly up and running.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. From apprenticeships to pharmacy managers, start your career with them today.
And now a word from our podcast sponsor Lookers Motor Group. They have Jaguar, Audi, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that is right for you. And on now through until Monday at Lookers Audi in Glasgow, Hamilton, Ayr, Stirling and Edinburgh, they have a Take Charge event running. That means you can take advantage of enhanced offers and incentives for the new Audi fully electric range. So if you're thinking of going electric, check out lookersaudi.co.uk to find out more, or pop into your local showroom. Now back to the podcast.
Looking to get car or van insurance double quick? To mustard.co.uk. With top insurance providers, a 5-minute pit stop with us could get you out in front in the race to savings. Car or van, work or play. Compare insurance with mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Can we do 0-0s at this time of the season? Can we get the proverbial finger out in Ayrshire or Aberdeen?
Yeah, but just listening to lads around the grounds with the reports or half-time reports, I am very confident we'll get goals in the second half.
Good on you. Where does the confidence come from?
I like the way Dave went about his half-time team talk. I think that message will get through to
team talk. I hope
they catch fire in the second half.
They'll catch fire. He'll be in fire. The Red Army will be in fire. But and Kilmarnock and Hearts, I can't see that being a dull 0-0. There'll be a goal.
That's a dull 0-0.
Yeah, with still no teams actually back out at Rugby Park. Roger Hannah, are you going to get the goals that you crave?
Also, the Kilmarnock team just beginning to get interesting to see if there's any changes, because, as we said, both sides changed formation from their last time out, and it certainly suited Hearts more. The 3-4-2-1, they've got more bodies in the middle of the park. Kilmarnock really missing the energy of young David Watson. There is actually going to be a change. I wonder if Watson would come into the midfield. He's not, but Brad Lyons is going to come into the Kilmarnock midfield, and that's certainly what they were missing. They were getting overrun there. Hearts had far more bodies in that engine room. They were creating chances. They should have been ahead. Only the woodwork twice denying them. Kenny Vargas and Cammy Devlin both hitting the bar, and it's a change of system as well. Robbie Dees, who came into the side when they went back to 4-4-2, he's coming off. Brad Lyons is going in. It looks as if they're going 3-5-2 to try and match up with Hearts and get some kind of foothold in this game, Gordon.
We'll see if it works. Managers earn their keep, I suppose, by making these decisions. Perhaps a surprise. No David Watson, lots of hype around him, given that it is awards season, and the young player, the actual Player of the Year award as well. I'll get you three to do that at some point in the second half, because you're hopeless at predicting football games. So this should be easier. I'll try and get you to predict the 4-man shortlist that will be announced on Monday. It's the last time. Well, I suppose you'll be on tomorrow, but we'll do it today anyway and see how you get on, so you can predict the 4. I'll get back to you. I'll give you some thinking time.
That's right on my street as a past winner twice,
just to work through, because I'm not necessarily asking who you would choose. I'm asking you to try and predict who the 4 will be. See, there's a subtle difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get back to you. Is Roger Hannah going to get his goal? You think the way Hearts finished that half a sign of things to come?
Yeah, I think Roger's full of confidence there. I like his positivity, and I think it'll filter through onto the pitch and we'll get goals in the second half.
That Falkirk goal's the only one anywhere in Scotland, I think, in the second half.
And I turn to my two ex-professional colleagues here. Do you think there's a post-split problem with players who the intensity level drops a bit?
No, I still think that you're looking at, you're still playing for bonus money. You're still playing
at the first
thing that comes to mind. Not like the pride or the badge on the jersey or anything.
Not at all.
Okay.
I've never been one of these that really interested in what colour of jersey I'm wearing. It's all about the candy at the end of the day.
He's a mercenary, really.
Yeah.
Penalty, Ross County. Shake things up. Remember, Livy were leading, and it's going to be another one of those. The ball flicked up off an arm by the looks of it. Oh no. Penalty to Livy. It's flicked up off the arm of Jack Baldwin. I did wonder when I saw Jack Baldwin's name involved. So
you know there's a calamity when Jack Baldwin's about.
But is Livy no terrible at penalties?
Season, Jack.
Who takes Livy's penalties?
Sean Kelly.
Everybody?
Remember he scored one
against his brother
earlier this season. He's going to take. But you're right, they've missed a few. And it might be the latest in the long line of handball debates, but there we are. Nothing new there. Sean Kelly's going to take to try and put Livy 2 up. That would be the dream start to the second half. They started the first half pretty brightly. Hearts just wasted a good counter-attack as well. They were through on goal. Sean Kelly is going to step up from the spot.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
No mistake made. Livingston 2, Ross County 0, and as it stands, which becomes used regularly at this time of the season, Livy may well be relegated, but it won't be today.
Well, it's a great show of character. And if you're Don Cowie, the Ross County manager, what's happening there? You know, you can beat Rangers for the first time in your life, and then, you know, you're looking to take advantage of Livy, their severe situation, and you're 2 down. Nah.
But that is our league this year, Hugh. Inconsistency throughout it, and I even include Celtic and Rangers within that. You know, there's your.
Well, that's it. It's too much to ask Ross County to be consistent, isn't it? If
If
some of
Celtic
the
and
bigger teams
Rangers
can't
drop,
do it.
and Aberdeen as well. You look at Aberdeen last week. We all raved about them, how they looked a threat going forward. Look at them today, home against Motherwell.
Well, clinging on a bit, Motherwell, to the clean sheet because Angus MacDonald's angled drive, it sort of hit a Motherwell defender on the line. It's then hacked clear. So coming closer, Angus MacDonald, he had quite the afternoon, didn't he? Last weekend, gave the goal away in terrible fashion. Came up the other end, scored a dramatic equaliser.
Pulled his foot away for James Forrest one as well before
Tucked
getting the
a
equaliser.
penalty away.
Tucked a
did he?
penalty away as well. Yeah. I think he said after it in his post-match as well, he says he thought they were going to win it at that stage, and he was right to think that. I think when you grab a last minute equaliser, you sometimes think the stars are just aligned for you in that occasion. But Joe Hart was the
hero
on the day. Yeah.
I think it was Lennon Miller that cleared it off the line, so doing good defensive work on that occasion. Kilmarnock already looking better, so that change at the break, change of shape, trying to make a difference, and it has done, certainly on the eye test early on in the second half, albeit you could always just say that maybe it couldn't be any, or much worse. There was a Brad Lyons, the man who came on, an angled cross there. Xander Clark takes it at the second time of asking.
Yeah, I think Derek had to address something. By all reports from Roger, Hearts were a better side in the first half, and they had to match up and go back to their usual formation, that 3 at the back, get players higher up the pitch in the wide areas as well. So that's what you're a manager for. You've got to make big decisions, and Derek's a very experienced manager. He's looked at the first half, it's not been acceptable, I'm going to change stuff here, and obviously it's working already.
Seen this, you're never sure what's true and what's not on Twitter, but I've seen this now a few times, so I would assume this is true, but it would have been said tongue-in-cheek, obviously, and complimentary. Davy Moyes on Jurgen Klopp. I'm just wary if I'm falling for a fake quote, but I feel like I can imagine him saying it in a tongue-in-cheek way. I'll be glad he's gone. F, too big, teeth are too bright, he's been immense for Liverpool, he's the daddy there, and he's been able to control a big football club. Hurry up and get away. I can imagine that.
Yeah, it's kind of managerial sarcasm, isn't it?
Yeah, he's right in a lot of things. His teeth are quite big.
Well, Fergie, the Sir Alex, when Klopp arrived at first, I just see the big teeth. Yeah. So
goals going in down the leagues: Edinburgh City 1, Stirling Albion 2, Josh McPake with it, Kelty 0, Montrose 2. And let's do this, Hugh Keevins.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Andrew Shinnie and Ollie McBurney. I have been managed by Duncan Ferguson and Derek McInnes. I have 2 caps for my national team, and I am still playing in England. Who am I? Played alongside Andrew Shinnie and Ollie McBurney. Been managed by Duncan Ferguson and Derek McInnes. 2 caps for my national team, and I'm still playing in England.
Who am I? Good question, that. At Clyde SSB, get your name in as quickly as you can and see if you can beat everyone else to it. It's tough but doable. At Clyde SSB, there's been a red card at Pittodrie, and it's come for Motherwell's Jack Vale. That's going to make life pretty difficult for Stuart Kettlewell's side. Aberdeen had started the second half brightly as well, had a shot cleared off the line. Now a red card for a challenge on Mackenzie. So you wonder if that's all heading towards an Aberdeen victory. That's a blow so early in the half.
Massive, because I think Vale's been a terrific signing. I think he works so hard for the team. I'm a bit surprised it was him. When you said it was a red card, Motherwell, I probably wouldn't have
it's
been
just
first
one
on
of
the
those
list.
that they're both sliding in for the ball.
Striker's tackle, is it?
No,
we call it that?
again, I don't even know, because I think both were just sliding in, whether Vale's caught McKenzie or not. But sent off anyway.
Yeah, it's a ball.
The flip side of that coin is if Aberdeen don't beat 10-man Motherwell, it further antagonises the supporters. So, two sides to every story.
Well, we'll take a look at it, of course, and debate it on Monday night and argue amongst ourselves as to whether it was the right decision or not. You can join in on the phone lines. Any ideas about the teaser yet, Gordon? You're usually very good at these because someone tells you the answer.
Yeah, I've not been getting my information of recent weeks, Gordon. I've sort of given up.
Mark Wilson's gone early.
Miles away.
Tell us the name then if it's wrong.
Is it Kristen Doige? No.
It's so stupid.
No.
They're checking that VAR. They're checking that red card on Jack Vale. Suppose it would come into now. Will it be overturned? It would need to be a clear and obvious error. So if there's any kind of studs on leg contact, it'll probably still stand. But we'll need to wait and see. You never can second guess these things. Mo Sangari's come on for Livy because Obalai's gone off injured. Remember, they lead 2-0, so looking pretty good for the victory today. That would not do a huge deal for their chances of staying up, but clearly a step in the right direction.
Amazing. If it stays like that, it'll be only the 4th game all season they've won. Now imagine being part of that squad. I know you're culpable, you're part of it, but the feeling of losing most weeks, so the joy that those players will have might be short lived, but
red card stands. Motherwell are down to 10 men. Jack Vale sent off a straight red card. Almost 3-0 to Hibs. Phillips has to hack a Maelida shot off the line. I don't think St John, and I don't always like going down this route, Hugh, because it is what it is, but it's not a big crowd at St Johnstone. They're not overly vociferous, but whoever is there will be pretty angry at what they're seeing.
Well, Livy will go down. They're showing valour today in the face of all the problems, but they will go down. Therefore, we're now talking about the playoffs. Ross County 2 down at Livy, they're getting nothing out of today. St Johnstone 2 down at home to Hibs, they're getting nothing out of today. So St Johnstone on 31 points, Ross County on 30. The two of them are in trouble.
Without doubt. Too late for Livy, definitely. Too late for Livy. The one they've got the bottom. The rest of the bottom 6 to play.
They would have to take back the Manager of the Year award and give it to Davy Martindale if he pulled that one off.
Yeah, tend to agree. But the way the other two are playing, you just can't see any consistency with any of those.
No, it's between St Johnstone and County. You've got to say.
You fancy your chances?
I found my magic 8 ball again from last week.
Okay.
Will Livy stay up?
Right,
go for it.
Absolutely.
There we are.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ask it, is Gordon Dale a gentleman?
Did Gordon Dale get a taxi?
With M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal Aberdeen, we said it was coming, and it's Gartenman with the header from a corner. They were already starting to get on top. Motherwell then went down to 10, and the 10 men have not held on for very long at all. Aberdeen 1, Motherwell 0.
Well, uphill struggle now, and that's an understatement. But the real Motherwell are not going to get involved in the playoffs, even though it's bad today, and neither will Aberdeen. So it's all about St Johnstone and Ross County.
It's all about money as well, Hugh, though. Each place comes with
comes
with a bit of cash, and maybe not for Aberdeen, but for Motherwell, I'd imagine it would impact Stuart Keltwell's budget for next year, finishing at the top of the pile there. So wondering if players' minds wander to holidays. Managers' minds don't. Managers' minds are thinking already, what does this squad look like next season? Who am I getting rid of? Who's actually out of contract? Who's moving on with Blair Spittle? And who can I replace him with?
Whoever is manager of Ross County next season, and it's by no means certain it will be Don Cowie, but he will have the comfort of a very, very rich owner in Roy McGregor. Meanwhile, in Perth, the Brown family are trying to sell St Johnstone, and it stands to reason that you get a much higher price for a St Johnstone team who are in the Premiership than you do for a St Johnstone team who are in the Championship.
Annan 1, Falkirk 3. So the invincible run, certainly the unbeaten run, certainly looks like it will continue. 61 minutes gone there. Confirmation of that Stefan Gartenman goal for Aberdeen on the hour mark. So they lead 10-man Motherwell by a goal to nil. Hard to see a Motherwell come back from here, Gordon. They have been the comeback specialists in the Premiership this season, but this seems different.
But away to an Aberdeen team now, they're one behind. You looked at Aberdeen last week, showed a lot of courage, played some really good stuff against Celtic. It's an uphill battle, of course it is. So no, I don't see any way back, unfortunately, for the Steelmen this afternoon.
But I'm saying there was a game earlier, or no, a couple of years ago. Motherwell went into 10 men at Pittodrie, and Kevin Van Veen was brilliant that day.
I think that rings a bell.
Well, I'm just thinking, you know, how they could do with somebody like that just now. Where is he? Is he getting any game time whatsoever at Kelly? Has he just been Derek McInnes had one look at him in the flesh and just thought, you are nowhere near fit enough to play in my team?
Or realistically, maybe a bit, but also it doesn't.
He's got good options.
It doesn't matter so much when you're flying and you're winning games. So it's not, you know, he's not. Ironically,
I still think if you're good enough, you get in.
But he came into a winning team. That's.
Yeah, I'm just talking about who he was mentioned with, who he was linked with.
Came on for
the scramble for him.
But that's what I mean, though. It just so happens that he came in and he kind of didn't need him. Really, you know, I think he's come on for a couple of minutes in the previous game. Same again before that. So yeah, very, very limited game time at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, what a difference a year makes, because he was undoubtedly the talk of the town last year. Yeah, just fantastic season he had. Been linked with Celtic, been linked with Rangers, chose to move away, and now look at him, he's sitting in the stand or on the bench at Rugby Park.
A lot of supporters thought that he could do a job for Rangers or Celtic coming off the bench. He was that good, Mark. But no, it just shows you have one good season and then you've not backed it up.
And would you have taken him over Theo Bair if he came in just now? Would you play him ahead of Theo Bair
just now? Absolutely no chance. No.
There you go. Difference a year makes.
The Bear's a man.
Not today, he's not.
Oh, did you see though the video that's gone up? You can't have been happy with this in your day. I wonder if this is would this be a fine amongst the team? Would the other boys in the team be happy about this? Did you see the video I think it was his partner put up on, I don't know, TikTok or something? Not see this yesterday.
What was that?
So it basically was a TikTok video, and it's Theo Bair kind of lying back topless.
Yeah,
and
like
it
that.
says, I thought we were going to watch Netflix, but we're watching his 2024 highlights. And then it kind of cuts to those two sitting, like, lying back on the couch or the bed. He's topless. And then it cuts back to the TV, and rather than watching some romantic film, they're watching him scoring goals.
Mate,
it's as grim as it sounds.
I think you should be banned out of the dressing room for that situation.
Feast your eyes on that. I think that's got to be a fine.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I'm sorry, is that his partner that's put that on?
Yes.
That's separation material. That's pack your bags.
He's obviously willing to take part in it.
Oh, that's so bad.
If
you've not seen it, get yourselves on.
If I had to do that with my wife, we'd be up to 4 a.m. watching my goals.
Except most of them were scored before colour TV was invented. So
that's bad. That's real
not
bad.
Great, is it? The chip against Livy is lovely for what it's worth.
Lovely, but I don't know if it'd be.
You don't lie.
I don't know if it'd be lying topless with mother half watching that.
I'd have a wee bag of popcorn as well, just to set it all off.
You're good. It's the old tub of popcorn.
It's also
the old trick.
If you watch closely as well, there's what is a stunning goal from his time at Vancouver, but it was a good few years ago as well. He's digging out the old ones.
Maybe that's just the way.
Players get ahead of themselves now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had one good season.
Wrong with a man enjoying his
Do you
good
think
form.
he went, darling, can we go to bed early tonight? Yeah, okay, let's sit on the TV.
Put something romantic on and
let's
get you in the
watch
mood.
my goals. I bet
that is genuinely the type of thing you would do, though, I reckon.
Absolutely. I've never watched a game in my life back. I'll guarantee you, when he's walking to the toilet, she is giving him what for. all day long.
It sounds like it was her idea, and I don't know what you meant by that phrase. I think you meant
was that
giving.
noise?
I think you meant giving him like credit.
I can't accept that. That's unacceptable.
But here's the thing.
There's a lot of things unacceptable. I've had them this week. That's another
But
one.
here's the thing, Adam Binney, who's at the Livingston game, he's a young man, a very young man.
Don't
Tell me he would do the
He's
same.
down with the kids, and he says he thinks it was a bit of a joke because it's a trend that American college players have adopted and started posting about. That's fine for them. They can do that.
Yeah,
They
you're in
can knock
Scotland.
themselves out. This will not go down well in Lanarkshire.
Mate,
Golden Deer.
Get Halliday's taking this.
Oh, I have.
Oh,
Is he giving
come
it to
on,
him?
give us
He
insight.
wasn't impressed.
You've got. I would be in the dressing room waiting for him to come in. I know he's a big lad, but I would be slaughtering him.
What would you say?
Oh,
Andy Halliday said that's unacceptable. And Andy Halliday, well, he's got experience and
He
influence.
didn't have the popcorn because he didn't have the smarts to open the box.
Anyway, at that game, Devlin's just headed a Junior Hoylett corner over, so Aberdeen looking for a second. Theo Bair can add another one to the highlights reel before the afternoon ends, but they are down to 10 men, so it's a bit of an uphill task. Still nothing. Kilmarnock Hearts. I think I need to refer back to my magic 8 ball. Are we getting a goal, Kelly Hearts?
No.
What's it say?
No.
Very likely.
Very likely.
It's in optimistic form today. Let's remind ourselves of that teaser, please, Hugh.
Okay. I have played alongside Andrew Shinney and Ollie McBurney. I have been managed by Duncan Ferguson and Derek McInnes. I have 2 caps for my national team, and I'm still playing in England.
Still nothing from you, Mark Wilson. Gordon Dalziel.
Guess Christian
Hold
Doyle,
on,
but-
hold on.
Let's see who's texted you now to tell you the answer.
Nobody. I don't know how to spell the second.
Oh, aye.
Is it?
Has he got it?
Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah. I was
good
going to go for somebody else. I was going to go for John Fleck.
Stuart has gone Fraser Hornby.
No.
Nacho wants to say Dean Campbell.
Resist that.
Stephen says Paolo Di Canio.
No.
Did Paolo Di Canio get Italy caps? Or did he not famously not get any? Trying to remember, because your
I don't
clue
think
is
I can.
your clue is that player has got 2, isn't
Yeah.
it? No, none for Paolo Di Canio. There we go.
What a
It's-
player as well. Didn't get any caps.
It's not him.
That's a bit like my career.
What
No
else have we
caps.
got on here? Someone else is in the same line as you. Jamie McCarry goes John Fleck and Ollie Burke.
No. Yeah.
Ollie Burke, they both have more than 2 caps, I would have thought. If this isn't going to help much, but just to add a bit of detail, not only is he still playing in England, he literally is, because he's playing today.
Yeah.
He's in action currently. Is his team still losing today? I think they are, but anyway. Let's get back to the football that we've got on offer. Still waiting that goal, if we're going to get it. Kilmarnock Hearts. Motherwell have just been carved open there. 10 man Motherwell. Miovski, he gets it past the keeper, and then looking for Hoylett to arrive and provide the final touch. It didn't come. Oh, there you go. It was an early kick-off that he played in today. Even easier for you to go and try and research who that was. Blaney says, who was that Motherwell player you were just talking about making the video? It was Theo Bair, Feed the Bear, in Team of the Season for PFA Scotland.
And it was on TikTok, was it?
Yes.
I'm on
Big
to
into my
that.
TikTok. Are you big into your TikTok?
I love TikTok. I lie for
Something I'm
hours
wrong.
and just watch TikTok.
Who do you watch?
Don't ask, don't answer that.
Everybody. I just flick through
Why?
and see.
It's a rude.
No, not at all. I don't see anything rude enough in my.
What type of videos do you watch then on TikTok? Because I don't watch it. I've
Golf.
got it, but
I watch.
Right, you watch golf.
Yeah, I watch a golf. I watch sort of a comedy sketches and stuff like that. I'm very TikTok up.
TikTok Daz.
I'm TikTok up.
TikTok
you got a
Daz, they
page?
could call you.
I don't, yeah. I don't know how to follow.
So you don't
people
post
around.
anything on it, you just
Oh no,
observe.
no. Observe.
Let's get you posting just now. We'll do a live
This
TikTok.
could be your first ever.
Aye. You just sitting there.
I think we did discuss this before, actually. This rings a bell. I think we did discuss this previously.
I thought TikTok was just all about people dancing, you know, silly dances, but I guess
No.
it's no.
Not at all. It's quite entertaining. TikTok and Twitter's the 2 things I would very much.
You're
stay
big on
away from.
Instagram as well.
I'm massive on Instagram.
Golf pictures. I saw you and Mark Wilson.
Oh, I saw you post that. Aye.
Out
Oh,
the-
he said,
out the
he said
course.
to whoever was playing me, I take a picture, and his instruction to the person that was taking to Marco, get me in it. It's if there was any other option. There, but deadly serious, get me in it.
Do you know what really annoys me, right?
He's a sensitive soul. We played golf the other day and he demanded his picture, and then he complained that pictures make him look a bit chunky.
That's not the pictures, that's your belly.
No, it's not.
It's making you look chunky.
You see me in that gym, everybody's admiring the muscles. But I've got to say, I enjoyed my game of golf with both of you. I thought it was very
thanks.
Just take it out there and socialise with each other.
Fresh air,
fresh air.
But I was going back to my story. The picture's brilliant. I've got the best golf gear in the world. My shoes are about 300 quid, and somebody slaughtered my shoes. What's that all about out there?
Oh,
I
know
Those
your
shoes
shoes.
sensitive.
They do look a bit scabby.
They're at the top of the range.
They certainly are not. Not next to
It's all
mine.
about the way it looks.
I had the old Nike Airs on.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to bring out the new ones.
You do that. Anyway,
next week.
Enough about him on Instagram. Aberdeen sub Duke on for Barron as they look for a second.
Well, they're making heavy weather of it against 10 men. So the Duke,
Two players that won't be there next year, I don't think. Duke and Barron. Barron away for different reasons. Duke, he must be fed up just sitting about. He looks a good player. I think he could go and do a job elsewhere.
Just mean Jimmy Teelan's going to walk in and find Miovski's been sold to somebody. Duke's away.
I'd be
and
amazed
Connor
if
Barron.
Miovski is still there.
The good thing is, if they do sell Miovski, the
gonna
bank
be for
balance
big
will
money.
look good. So that's the silver lining, and every manager wants to try and sign players, don't they? There he is. He's on to save the day. Andy Halliday and Sam Nicholson replacing Dan Casey and Davor Zradovsky for Motherwell. So see if that makes any difference.
But with Miovski, we're always quick to point the finger at recruitment failures. Whoever was behind that at Aberdeen, whoever plucked him from, was it Macedonia he came from, or where was he playing before that? You know, a good find. I know Jim Goodwin was manager. I don't know if Jim identified him, but the team round about him to suggest him, great find. Because it's very rare that you get a player of his quality coming in and then you can.
No, he was in the Hungarian league.
Hungarian
was
league.
it? Yeah.
Yep.
That is a good find to go.
Ah, of course,
Yeah.
because what you going to get from Miovski? Every right to get 6 million, maybe?
Right age?
Something
4
like
and
that.
upwards anyway.
Yeah.
He's a 24-year-old international footballer, isn't he? So there's every chance that's what they would try and hold on for. Jensen for Mackenzie as well. So Aberdeen shaking things up in search of that second. Motherwell freshening it to try and get back in, but they are down to 10 men, so that's going to make it tough. Real mixed response. Baker says you have to get the Dazzler on TikTok, the real Mr. Worldwide. And Paul Allen says my wife has no idea who the Dazzler is, but she just laughed at the radio. My 2-year-old said, "What are you laughing at, mummy?" And my wife replied, "Oh, just that old man on TikTok from the radio."
That's a
just
bit
that old man.
rude.
Old. Aye.
I'm not an old man. I'm a young whippersnapper.
Red-blooded man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whippersnapper.
Right, so you've got the teaser now, did you say?
Well,
I got it. I got it.
Okay, that's no use. I was hoping you would go your own way and one of you would still be in the dark, but I can see lots of correct answers coming in. I'm impressed with the knowledge, as always. I think I'd be hopeless at these Who Am I's. I'm always amazed at how good you are, I have to say. So quick at getting it right. Then the number of people that get it right, very, very impressed.
When you put it all together, it's quite easy.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
good. I'll take your word for it.
It's quite easy. It's quite easy when the producer's giving you the answer for 3/4 of the season.
Look, I oust him for cheating. I didn't like his way going about the situation. He used to cheat every Saturday, and I wasn't having it. So I went on my own here today. That was a good guess from me.
Honest as the day is long, you are.
Yeah, I've never really went through my life with that sort of a statement.
Good game down in Annan. Annan now 2, Falkirk 3. So remember, Falkirk, they've won the title at a canter. They're looking to maintain an entire unbeaten season. They're still doing it as things stand, but Annan trying to make it difficult for them. Dunfermline 1, Inverness 1. An equaliser there. That could be a crucial one. Semi late on, about 15 minutes or so to go.
A couple of weeks ago, Dunfermline were right in the mix for the playoff spots, but
They fell away.
oh,
Yeah.
that's
They're
all but over now.
The forums.
But Queen's Park will go above Inverness today. They're 4 up, I think, at Arbroath
Yeah,
now.
running away with it.
They are both players. I know Duncan Ferguson had a go at their both players
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago. He might be onto something. I feel sorry for Jim McIntyre. Good manager, had success here, tangible success, won a trophy in this country, and he's taken that job, but resources very little, and a huge rebuild needed.
Are they the only part-time team in that league? Is Queen's part-time, full-time? They
They're
Queen's Park full-time, yeah.
So it's always got to be a hard shift for them.
They're another one.
I suppose after coming so close as well to promotion, the promised land, that doesn't quite work out, and then the only way is down. But yeah, Arbroath 0, Queen's Park 5. Dom Thomas adding his second, Queen's Park 5th. So it's not a pretty end to the season.
Well, Queen's Park close last year as well, and decision was made. Owen Coyle go one way.
Playoffs were brilliant last season, weren't they?
Great, and then they chose to go in a different direction and bring in a manager from overseas who like to promote young players and play a certain style, and that has backfired. Now Callum Davidson came in, as I said earlier, and steadied the ship a bit, but I think they would be disappointed, the hierarchy there of how this is all panned out for them this season, because when you're so close.
Obviously you've got a connection in the champion. Who's your favourites for the players? Who do you think will play the 11th team in the Premier League?
So it'll be Partick Airdrie, won't it? Next week. That's hard to call, because see, when you look at the games this season between it, I know Partick thumped them last week, but Airdrie are a good football inside. Speaking to Chris Nolan actually yesterday about it, and he said, how can you call the playoffs? Look at them last season where Thistle were, and Thistle beat it. Look at Ayr United last season. Nobody saw that coming. Thistle went there, Chris was new into the job, they went there and won it with ease, and then they almost beat Ross County. How can you call it? It's a tough one, really is.
Aberdeen well on top against 10-man Motherwell. Miovski has another shot saved by Liam Kelly, so it certainly looks like a second Aberdeen goal is far more likely than a Motherwell equaliser.
It's all gone static there. Aberdeen look as if they're a shoe-in. Motherwell, though, still on 37 points. Aberdeen would go on to 38, but it's all about St Johnstone and Ross County, stuck there above Livy, both losing 2-0, and both will end the day where they started it.
Crazy that these can be described as very quickly. Oh, there is a Motherwell chance, a decent chance at the near post, but the header's quite tame in the end and it goes wide. Kevin Van Veen is going to get some game time, Mark. You've got your wish, GMS. So KVV, GMS and David Watson are all coming on for Kilmarnock. Forrest for Vargas was the Hearts change. I was going to say it's incredible to think this is now considered a big goal, but Man United won.
I know.
Burnley 0, 79th minute. Anthony, did you see him last week with the penalties? You see that?
Ridiculous. The
shame.
I've no time for that boy.
So Man United 3-0 up, chuck it 3 each. Heartbreaking offside decision for Coventry. Goes to penalties, they win, and he turns round and gives it the cupping of the ears to the Coventry players right as they're standing in the centre circle of the penalties.
I don't.
Horrible.
No, I don't. He's not for me. Him.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
St Johnstone 0, Hibs 3, and it's Dylan Venta who has the goal. A big money signing, remember, certainly a big fee by Scottish football standards, particularly for a club like Hibs. His 8th of the season, maybe not quite as many as they would have hoped, but nevertheless he's got one today. St Johnstone's woes continue. They've been atrocious at the back, terrible defence, good finish, and Hibs are going to win this one easily.
This is a team playing at home, against a team who rarely win. 8 in 29 prior to today. So that's got a worrying look about it for St Johnstone. They could yet be deep in trouble.
They are deep in trouble, Hugh. It's a shootout for me. St Johnstone, Ross County. Aberdeen win today. That takes them out it. Yep. Motherwell will not get dragged back in there.
Are you sure?
Can you I can
assure me of that?
I will confirm you that Motherwell will not get dragged back in there, Gordon. So it's a straight shootout between St Johnstone and Ross County. Livy are gone.
Stenny won, Bonnie Rig Rose won. I think it's trophy day, isn't it, for Stenhouse Muir, so they want to win, but not the end of the world. Bradley Barrett with the equaliser with 10 to go. David Carson on for Dan Mackay at the Tony Macaroni. Still Livy with the lead in that one.
Yeah, well, because things are still up for grabs for a lot of teams, I was thinking now's the time of the season that you would like to see young players, come through and get their introduction off the bench. You look at that Kilmarnock substitutions that have come on, experienced players. I know they've got Watson still in the side, but he's been there and done it. Do you see a lot of that now? What? Academy players and younger players getting the last few games of the season to come on, or is there that much at stake now for some of these teams? It's just not
always
worth
the
it.
excuse managers use, certainly, whether it's enough or not. Motherwell make another change. Mugabe and Moses, remember, got the dramatic winner at Dens. Maybe he can play a part. Lennon Miller and Stephen O'Donnell, off they go with about 10 minutes of the 90 remaining. Remind us of your teaser, please, Hugh.
Okay, I have played with Ollie McBurney and Andrew Shinney. I've been managed by Duncan Ferguson and Derek McInnes. I've got 2 caps for my national team, and I'm still playing in England.
Call this the 5-minute warning, will we? We'll round this off very soon, and most of the answers are pretty good. James says, is it Chris Maguire?
No.
David says Kane Wilson.
Who's that?
He's not on the list, certainly. David says Owen Tudor Jones.
No.
Okay, that's a bit of a rogue shout, but there we go.
No hyphenated names.
Chris Maguire shared the bench with me at the Emirates. 2 of the unused substitutions in that day.
I thought you were
Brazil.
the only one.
I'm pretty sure Chris Maguire didn't get on as well.
It just shows you the state that Scotland national team were in on those times. When you look around it, who's the manager again?
Craig Levine.
Craig Levine must have looked around the bench and thought, how can I change this? And then there's you and Chris Maguire.
Well,
I remember the goal Chris Maguire scored for, was it the 21s? He scored from the halfway line, straight from kick-off.
Yeah.
Good.
That was a strong squad then. Strong squad. That was. We were going places.
Craig Levine's fallen a fair way since then.
Incredible. Edinburgh City 1, Stirling Albion 3. Dale Hilson with the goal in that one. Big game that down, trying to avoid the relegation playoffs in League 1.
St Johnstone Ross County on the 15th of May. Midweek game.
Was it midweek?
Yeah.
Oh, they're classic.
You could go up. Is that a Wednesday? You could go up.
We'll go up. Yeah.
Well,
no, it's
double
Bath
the
night.
crowd.
No.
Double the attendance.
No. Our Bath night's now a Monday.
You're joking.
No, I changed in the winter and the summer, the spring.
Why?
Because
this is huge news. Why is this the first we're hearing of this?
Do you not know this?
No.
It's a tradition in my house for years. And a Wednesday in the winter, because it obviously breaks up the week and it's something to look forward to. And when the clocks go
simple existence.
When the clocks go forward in the spring, I go on a Monday because it then freshens you up for a full week because it's going to be sunny.
Cleans you for the full week. Don't need cleaned again.
Yeah, you feel good on a Monday night. So I'm now listening to Hannah and Halliday on a Monday night, which is excellent because I quite
this
like
is the thing, because Roger just said, sadly I knew Daz changes Bath nights when the clocks change. You are one of a kind, I have to say.
Yeah, you've
You'll
got
have
to
a
mix
strange
up a wee bit.
Remarkable, absolutely remarkable. What a man. Anyway, I'll be thinking. No, I won't. I was going to say I'll be thinking about you tomorrow, but absolutely not. Still nothing. Kilmarnock Hearts. We were Roger Hannah. It's his fault. He called it game of the day before we kicked off. Third against fourth. Honestly, still time. Get that dramatic finish, perhaps.
Van Veen.
This is 0-0. Written all over it.
That's a brave shout. It's a brave shout at 4:45, Mark.
I've said it all half. You keep saying we're getting a goal, great
We're getting a
action.
goal, yeah.
There's no action down there. They're on holiday mode, these guys.
And it wouldn't quite. No, it wouldn't seal third place for Hearts if it was a draw. A VAR check for a Killie penalty. It's in the corner of the box. It's an apparent handball, or alleged, or whatever the right phrase is when you're waiting on a VAR check. Still waiting.
Normally the word is imaginary.
Well, yeah, that's another one that potentially could be the case. A fairly low tolerance for handballs in Scottish football this season. You get the odd surprising one, but still waiting. Their Junior Hoylets had a 20-yarder tipped over for Aberdeen. It definitely looks like they'll win the game. The question really seems to remain whether it will be more than 1-0. Play on, no penalty.
There we are. No action at all.
We were waiting on.
Well, Derek McInnes was the man early in the season who said that VAR was doing his head in. The opinion will not have risen since then.
Yeah, we'll get another look at it. Add it to your list of debating points for Monday. Maybe it was the perfect decision. Maybe there is nothing to be argued over. But we'll take a look when the highlights are released and see what we make of it. Don't forget, the chance for you to have your say on the phone lines isn't far away.
Old Trafford,
wow.
Old Trafford.
Man United 1, Burnley 1.
How bad are they?
They're terrible.
So who's getting that job then? Because he's certainly.
I would give it to Big Ange.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would love to see Ange in the dugout at Old Trafford. I think he'd bring a smile back to the Reds' face.
They're an embarrassment.
You kind of get the feeling they need to just get it over and done with now, don't you? Like, I know modern football culture, they probably do sack managers too often, and I always try to reel against that, but God, it's just...
What about the owner last week, Jim Radcliffe? What about this? Did you see him?
No.
Done the London Marathon. What age is he? 70. Done the London Marathon. Quick shower, straight to Wembley to watch the semi-final.
How old is he?
70, something like
and
that.
apparently his heart rate was much higher during the penalties than it was during the London Marathon.
Somebody in the London Marathon finished Monday, didn't he? Monday morning.
Have one of the big diver suits on. You see them people.
No, it was
it?
Yeah,
I saw someone late on Sunday night. I thought
Monday.
Was it?
Yeah,
I thought
Monday?
I thought you had to be finished by a certain time on Sunday
Hold on,
night.
are you
no?
sure?
Check it.
I did see the last. I saw the BBC or something did an article. You know, the last runner crosses the line, sort of thing.
Monday morning. Check it out. Gordon's on it.
Ah, well, don't you worry.
Monday
I'm sure a nation waits with bated breath to find out. No, 7:30 on Sunday night. I told you.
No, it was Monday morning.
Oh my goodness.
You've just seen someone coming home for a night out on BBC News and seen him strolling down the mall and thought,
do you know what it is, right? All your TikTok, you just watched the video on Monday. It doesn't mean it didn't take place.
No, I'm not, I'm standing by my conviction here. I think I'm right. I'm going to check that myself.
He sounds certain.
I read it. I seen the lad coming in Monday.
Yeah. No, well,
carrying 6 bottles of milk. 3 in
no,
each
you're
hand.
right. There was one guy. Yeah,
There you
seems
go.
to be.
See,
so it just depends who you believe, because there are loads of articles here that say watch the moment the last runner crosses the line, and it's Sunday night 7:30. They say runners have until midnight, but apparently I don't know what Fred Tomlinson was up to. He crossed the line just after midnight. 13 hours.
13 hours that took him.
What's the point, Fred?
Oh, come on, he could have been doing it for a good
Of course he was. I'm joking. There would have been loads
Poor
of
Fred.
charity raised and well done to him, but
could have delivered the papers in London, still finished it in that time, couldn't he?
oh, Hugh's shout is starting to creak. Annan 3, Falkirk 3. Can you imagine? Imagine there's an equaliser.
They'll be fine.
Thistle 0, Ayr 0. Mark,
third place, here we are.
Was that
75 grand in the pocket.
Do you see any of that as the under-18s manager?
Absolutely not. No, but I'll go into the squad, no doubt, for next year. But that's huge. Third place is massive. I think it gives you the home game second in the playoffs, so that means this will go to Airdrie next week.
It's actually quite a big goal for Annan, because it does move them out of the relegation playoffs and put Stirling Albion back into it, level on points. But if it wasn't for that equaliser, they would be in the relegation playoff spot. I think we should round off the teaser, Hugh, just in case we get any late drama. There's 7 minutes added on at Livy. No one knows why, but there are 7 minutes, so let's do this.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Andrew Shinney and Ollie McBurney. I have been managed by Duncan Ferguson and Derek McInnes. I have 2 caps for my national team, and I'm still playing in England. I am Dylan McGeer.
Dylan McGeer, loads of you got it right, honestly. Really impressed with that. Such a good standard. Third place, Dylan Patton. Second place, Token Jester. And the winner, it's Caffers. Dylan McGee acknowledged through the roof. What was the clue that did it for you, Gordon DL?
Well, Aberdeen with Derek McInnes, and was it Forest Green with Ferguson?
Yeah, it was. I think played for Carlisle today. Am I right
Yeah,
to say
Carlisle,
that?
yeah.
So, there you
Who
go.
were relegated today.
2 caps.
Yes.
I'm amazed at that.
Why? Deserves more?
No, he's got double my caps.
No. But again, what's amazing about that?
Dylan McGeer was decent.
Remember coming off the back.
I played with Dylan McGeer.
Did you?
Yes.
Remember coming off the back of that, the time at Hibs and stuff. It was that. I think it was the Peru and Mexico.
Oh, right, okay.
We're giving it a lot of caps at that point.
They don't care.
Has to
I
be said.
remember he came on Celtic Aberdeen, came on, ran the length of the pitch and scored the day that Celtic won 9-0.
Yep, I remember it.
Honestly, I am sick of this. Scott McTominay is down, getting treatment for an injury, looks in some distress.
Oh no.
Looks gutted apparently.
Well, that's a right wing back away.
What is going on?
I know. It's because I mentioned him, that right wing back role. It's
It's
cursed.
not just him, it's everybody.
It's cursed.
Oh, seriously. What
Dylan
chance have you got?
and we are shout again.
Dylan McGeoch will get his third cap against Germany in Munich at this rate. Come on. That is not good. Not good at all.
But what is good is that Clyde have won and now go above Stranraer. So well done, Ian McCall.
Yeah, good for
That's
Clyde.
not going to help us in Germany,
Yeah.
Hugh.
Not quite as.
No, but it'll
it's not
help
quite.
me.
It's not quite going to offset Scott McTominay's absence from the Euros.
But it helped me when I go to his wedding.
It will.
Oh, when is it? When's Colin get married?
The
All right, okay. This year.
It's this summer, June sometime.
I'd love to be getting married again.
What?
Something to look forward to. I love the night. I love the day.
We all get marzipan fatigue by this time.
It was the only thing I liked about the wedding was the full day. See that? Just you're the centre of attention and.
No. Your wife is supposed to be the centre of attention.
No, it does. Not at all. Behave yourself.
Strange.
Did you wear a kilt at your weddings?
No, he said he's never.
I've never
worn
wore a
one.
kilt.
What were your suit? A tuxedo?
Just a lovely sharp. I look sharp suit and away.
One of the big baggy ones you wore at Air United.
The only day in my life.
You're wrong, Hugh. Lots of people, not for the first time. Dylan McGeoch's solo goal was St Mirren.
I thought it was against Aberdeen as well.
Hold on, wait a minute. And A says McGeoch's solo goal was against St Mirren, and then Sean says,
Was it?
yeah, it was a 5-0 against St Mirren apparently here.
No, they're wrong.
I thought it was against Aberdeen as well, Hugh, that he picked the ball
Now
up.
producer Michael's in my ear saying it was Aberdeen. It was
was,
Aberdeen.
aye.
Has he scored more than one then?
Anyway, I wore a kilt for the one and only day in my life when my daughter got married. I never, ever again. Danny McGrain wouldn't stop laughing at the reception.
I think I'd be the same as Danny. Don't imagine there's much bulk in those legs.
No.
You don't do leg day, do you, every Wednesday at the
I
gym?
bought the most expensive suit I have ever bought, and my wife wouldn't let me wear it.
Why did you not like wearing a kilt?
Because Danny McGrain and Bobby Williamson, who were both at the reception, just kept laughing and laughing.
What tartan did you have?
Don't know.
I'm having the Gordon.
No,
tartan.
the solo goal's St Mirren, Mark Wilson. You're
okay,
I'm
I
watching
stand
it,
corrected.
watching it in front of me. I know it's confusing you. St Mirren are red and black.
Well, I'm being shown something different.
No.
Solo goal.
No, you're not.
No,
Look,
is that the same one?
How many times? Like, I'll show you. There you go. Happy with that?
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, remember it now.
Aye. Well, that's right. You picked up in the box. There
that's
we
right,
go.
okay,
Looks
good.
like Aberdeen, Hugh, doesn't it? Yeah.
Motherwell are having a late rally here, but nothing doing. Blair Spittle with the shot way over the bar. Sockler on for Miovski there. 4 added. No breakthrough then? Have we consigned ourselves to goalless between Kilmarnock and Hearts? 4 minutes added.
Yep. I think so. Not much between the sides at all, but doesn't surprise me that today.
Okay, let's see. With full-time whistles are starting to go down the divisions mostly. See if we can get one in the Premiership. Not quite yet. I don't think he didn't score in the 9-0 either. Everybody's just taking great delight at pointing out Hugh Keevins' mistakes.
Well, no, I was there. I was there with you, Hugh. I stand on that hill with you.
I don't know why though.
Nor do I.
Because he's a truthful, honest
not
man.
Inexplicable. Yeah, I just
got it wrong.
Well, these
certainly
smart
have.
Alex with their access to Google.
with their facts.
Yeah.
Oh no, these people will remember it. Believe
Clouding
me,
issues with their facts.
they'll have remembered it straight away. That's for sure. Still no full-time whistles in the top flight. 5-5. That's the way of things now, isn't it? You could get your call in nice and early, I suppose. So 141-951-1025. Get your thoughts in. It's full-time at Livy. Here's Adam.
Yeah, full time at the Tony Macaroni Arena. It has finished Livingston 2, Ross County 0. Goals from Bruce Anderson and Sean Kelly mean that Livy are not relegated just yet, and they will hang on to their Premiership status for at least one more week. Anderson got the opener after 12 minutes when he latched on to Ryan Leake's short-headed back pass, and he then lifted the ball over Ross Laidlaw and into the net. The Lions were the better of the two sides in the first half, with Anderson and Daniel Mackay coming close to doubling their lead before the break. Ross County's best and only chance of that first half fell to Josh Sims around the half-hour mark, but his poked effort after a misjudged header from Obalai played him in was easily saved by Shamal George. Livy entered the break with a one-goal lead, and it didn't take them long to extend that in the second half. They were awarded a penalty 9 minutes after the restart when Daniel Mackay flicked the ball off the arm of Michi Ifeti. Sean Kelly then stepped up to take the penalty and stroked it into the bottom left corner. Ross Laidlaw did get a hand to it, but he couldn't turn it around the post. County enjoyed all of the ball for the remainder of the match, but couldn't really do anything with it. Livingston sat in, defended well, and held on to their comfortable 2-0 lead. Eamon Brophy did have a header cleared off the line in the closing stages, and a left-footed drive tipped wide by Ross Laidlaw in injury time, but they just weren't able to spark a late comeback. I said before this one that the Tony Macaroni Arena was tinged with sadness, but the only emotion you can sense from the fans now is pride. It probably is still too late for Livy. They're 9 points cut adrift with 4 to play, but they did not play like a relegation-bound side today. Ross County, however, are still stuck in 11th place, one behind St Johnstone. They looked unrecognisable from the team that beat Rangers in their last league match, and they'll need a big improvement if they are to lift themselves out of that dreaded relegation playoff position. Is there really now a belief that Livy can achieve the near impossible? We'll find out if that's the case from the gaffer Davy Martindale very soon. Full time in Livingston. Livingston 1, Ross County 0.
It's finished in Perth as well. St Johnstone Hibs, David Friel.
Yeah, full time. Gordon, St Johnstone 1, Hibs 3. Encouraging for Hibs, they were really good, but very, very worrying for St Johnstone. They were really, really bad. Montgomery, Hibs manager, was under major pressure coming out of this one, but his players delivered one of their best displays of the season, their first away win since December, and they could have scored 5 or 6, but as I say, St Johnstone were poor. They are going to need to improve very, very quickly if they are going to dodge this relegation playoff. Hibs were ahead after just 6 minutes. Emiliano Marcondes producing an outstanding free kick. Martin Boyle won the foul. Marcondes curled his shot into the top corner from 25 yards. What a strike it was. St Johnstone, to be fair to him, did almost equalise immediately. Adama Sidibe, he was clean through, his shot was saved, but that was really the closest they came until a late consolation. Mizian and Mayalida, Martin Boyle, Chris Cadden all wasted chances in the first half to make it 2-0 to Hibs, but Paul Hanlon on as a sub did get the second in 44 minutes with a low finish after St Johnstone failed to clear a long throw. St Johnstone tried their best to get back into the game. They had a bit of pressure at the start of the second half, but Hibs had all the chances. Mayalida, Marcondes, Boyle all passed up openings before sub Dylan Venti made it 3-1. A great finish, a simple ball over the top, more poor defending. St Johnstone striker Benji Kimbioka did get a consolation back right at the death with a simple finish, but it was too little too late. The boos from the home fans at the end told their own story. St Johnstone in deep trouble. Full time, St Johnstone 1, Hibs 3.
And it's finished at Rugby Park. Roger Hannah.
It has Gordon Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0. The Jambos are a point closer to third. Kelly are a point closer to fourth. They will both be playing European football next season, I suspect, but they will not look back in this afternoon with any great fondness. Twice the crossbar denied the Jambos in the first half. Kelly keeper Will Dennis also made 3 smart saves to deny George Grant. Stephen Naismith now 5 games unbeaten against his old club this season, albeit he had a late scare. Kelly finishing in the front foot but just unable to find a breakthrough. Kelly threatened first 17 minutes. Matic Kennedy off target from an angle at the corner of the box, but the rest of the first half was all about the Jambos. Kenny Vargas hitting the bar in 23 minutes after a 1-2 with captain Lawrence Shanklin. Dennis in the first of his 3 saves, denying Grant at point blank range in 37 minutes. Moments later, Cammy Devlin's curling right foot shot from just inside the box came back off the bar. Devlin had another chance before the break, but he just couldn't sort his feet at the back post and the chance was gone. Hearts lost Benny Beringamy to injury and added time at the end of the first half with young Macaulay Tate coming on. And Kelly reacting to their poor first half display, changing the formation, changing personnel at half time. Brad Lyons coming into the midfield and left back Robbie Dees coming on. Kelly an immediate response. Lyons angled cross held at the second attempt by Jambo's goalkeeper Xander Clark, but then his opposite number Dennis twice inspired saves to deny Grant midway through the half as Hart pushed for the opener. Shanklin flashed a shot over the bar from outside the box, but then in the last moments Kelly suddenly rallied. There was a snapshot by Kyle Vassell straight at Clark. There was then a penalty, a VAR check for an alleged handball in the box. That was waved on. A second penalty claimed by Kelly when Kai Rolls went in a challenge on Marley Watkins near the end. And then in 4 minutes of added time, Watkins, a flashing shot from substitute Kevin Van Veen's cut back. A fine save by Clark to keep it scoreless. 6,677 people here, Gordon. Not a single goal. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0.
And let's go to Dave Galloway because it's finished at Pittodrie.
Yes, Aberdeen 1, Motherwell 0 after these two teams served up a 6-goal thriller here earlier this season. It was hoped we'd be treated to more of the same. But in the first half, despite some nice football and plenty attacking intent, the score sheet was blank. Stephen O'Donnell's shot was saved by the legs of Keller Roos early on, but neither keeper had too much to do. Bojan Miovski couldn't connect with Jack McKenzie's cross to the back post despite his acrobatics. The sides carved out a series of chances and half chances but lacked a cutting edge. Dante Polvara went close for the hosts as half-time beckoned, with a full-blooded drive from just outside the box going narrowly over. And Aberdeen made a good start to the second half. Angus MacDonald's fierce angled drive cleared off the line by Lennon Miller. Motherwell were down to 10 men after Jack Vale's challenge of Jack McKenzie, as both went for the ball. That was considered dangerous by ref Craig Napier, a decision which stood after a VAR review. That was after 56 minutes. And then on the hour mark, the Dons deservedly took the lead from Junior Hoylett's corner. Stefan Gartenman got his head to it and the ball went in off the post. Bojan Majowski's effort beat Liam Kelly, but Hoylett couldn't force the ball in at the back post, and Nicky Devlin had his head in his hands after nodding another corner over. Theo Bair had a decent chance to equalise up at the other end, but could only head tamely wide as Motherwell briefly threatened. But Aberdeen almost doubled their advantage when Junior Hoylett's 20-yarder was smartly tipped over by Liam Kelly, who also did well to beat away Duke's stinging shot. Motherwell with a late flurry, but it was much too little, too late. It's ended here at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 1, Motherwell 0.
And now it is over to you. 0141 951 1025. Give us a call. What's on your mind tonight? Are you reflecting on today's football? If so, what are you thinking? If you're happy, that probably means you are a Livy fan, Aberdeen fan, Hibs fan, Kilmarnock and Hearts fans. It's sort of a shrug of the shoulders and on we go. Motherwell fans, are you fearful that the season is just going to peter out from here? And then on to tomorrow. Come on, Celtic fans and Rangers fans, it is getting tense. 0141 951 1025. All your thoughts on tomorrow. Here are some questions to start you off. Rangers fans, would you bring Connor Goldson back into the team or would you leave him out? And Celtic fans, is it time to start James Forrest or is he on the bench? 0141 951 1025. We'll speak to you next.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are here and they're all waiting patiently on your call. So what are you thinking tonight? Have you got today's football on your mind? Did you watch your team win, lose or draw today? Get in touch, let us know what it was like. And then on to tomorrow. How are you feeling? Is it getting nervous? Celtic fans, Rangers fans, St Mirren and Dundee, you've got your own battles to fight as well in that race for European football. So if you want to preview rather than review, 0141 951 1025. Get your calls in right now if you can, please. A reminder of the scores today then: Aberdeen 1, Motherwell 0, Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0, Livingston 2, Ross County 0, St Johnstone 1, Hibs 3. In the Championship, Arbroath 0, Queen's Park 5, Dunfermline 1, Inverness 1, Morton 0, Raith Rovers 0, Partick Thistle 0, Ayr United 0. In League 1, Alloa 0, Hamilton Accies 1, Annan Athletic 3, Falkirk 3, Edinburgh City 1, Stirling Albion 3, Kelty Hearts 0, Montrose 2, and Queen of the South 2, Cove Rangers 0. In League 2, Clyde 1, East Fife 0, Dumbarton 2, Elgin 2, Forfar 2, Stranraer 0, Stenhousemuir 1, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, and the Spartans 2, Peterhead 2. What did we learn today, Hugh Keevins?
Well, we learned that Aberdeen and Motherwell are safe and that St Johnstone and Ross County had better watch out because one of them will definitely be in the playoffs, and that may not be a pleasant watch for whichever one is stuck with it. We also learned that Kilmarnock and Hearts post-split were not at the same intensity level as they were when they were working their way into the top six. It was a bit of a damp squib at Rugby Park. The big picture now is tomorrow.
Yeah, well, the big picture today was at the bottom of the league, because Hugh's right, the one at the top for third and fourth, you know, bit of a non-event really, but at the bottom, yeah, for Ross County, that'll be a sore one for Don Cowie. I think he would have looked to have built obviously off that victory against Rangers and thought his team was moving in one direction, but how often has Ross County fans saw that? A great win for Livy, not had many this season, but for St Johnstone and Craig Levein, I think trouble looms for him.
I certainly think it was a good day if you're an Aberdeen supporter. I think they're getting good encouragement last weekend, and they got off to a good start today with 3 points against Motherwell, which moves them above Motherwell and takes them right out that danger zone. The new manager can start looking at the club and start planning for next season, because they ain't going to be in trouble. It's all about St Johnstone, Ross County. But a big congratulations. It's been a hard season for David Martindale at Livingston and all these players, and to get a good result today, so congratulations to him.
Right, come on, 01419511025. Motherwell fans, are you a bit concerned that the season is going to peter out after that defeat against Aberdeen? Aberdeen fans, is that you safe? Livy fans, can you do the unthinkable? Hibs fans, is Nick Montgomery safe for now? All the questions coming out of today. And of course tomorrow, a big day in the battle for the title and the battle for European places as well. Let's bring in Billy, who's a Rangers fan. What are you thinking about Rangers tomorrow, Billy?
But I just feel good evening, boys. Just feel that Rangers have got to start with the same team that started against Hearts and the same intensity.
So that would mean no Connor Goldson then?
No Goldson, no. No, the big man, he's done well, but he's fell off the pace, you know.
I think Billy's quite right. There'll be no Connor Goldson. I don't think so. Why would you change it? I don't think there'll be any problem with intensity either for Rangers and Paisley or Celtic and Dundee, because now it's about mentality. The team that doesn't win it now will be accused of bottling it.
But it's not automatic. I mean, the title race was very much on when Rangers showed no intensity at Dundee and Dingwall. You know, it's not like you say, "Oh, it's really important, so therefore, you know, it will be intense." It's not that automatic, because what happened in Dingwall and Dens?
Yeah, sure. But post split, you crystallise everything, and it's quite simple. One false move and you've had it.
The thing about Connor Goldson, though, Mark, is Philippe Clement said it was a rest last week. So.
Yeah. Well,
is he going to come back in for you?
Well, again,
Billy says no.
It'd be a no for me. I think Balogun has done fine when he's come in. Goldson is going through a tough stage at the minute. His form's been poor, and I think he merited his place on the bench last week. Now, where does that leave Balogun or Suter if Goldson comes back in? If you've to take Philip Clement at his word, then Goldson would be expected to play. But I really don't see, from a manager's point of view, why you would disrupt that partnership that looked fine last week. I don't see the merit in that.
Did it though? I know it kept a clean sheet.
At times
listen, at times Suter down the left hand side in the second half probably looked like he had a mistake in him. And Suter, I've said this before, John Suter does have a mistake in him, but I don't think it takes away the qualities that he does have. And I think that puts him in a better place at the minute than Goldson. I just think Goldson has lost a bit of that speed, a bit of that sharpness that obviously gets to you when you go beyond 30. I think he's been at the club a long time and his race is run. You're going to disagree with me because you still think he's got a place to play there.
Yeah, I think he's sitting there on a 2-year contract. Look, has he been in form? Absolutely not. I'm not going to disagree with that. He's been poor lately. I think he'll stick with the two centre backs. I wasn't 100% convinced about them. I go back to when Clement came in at first and Rangers were getting all the plaudits about defensively how good they were. That defensive partnership was Balogun and Goldson at the time. Now I understand Rangers fans not wanting Goldson in the team. I think he'll stick with the same back line, the same goalkeeper. Seaman's injured, am I right in saying that, Gordon? Yep. So obviously that'll need to be a change. He'll need to look at that. The one for me that He'll probably start him tomorrow, but I keep going back to it. I think he's better coming off the bench. Is Matondo?
No, he's injured as well.
He's injured.
You're all good.
Okay then.
No wingers.
So no wingers. So it leaves him a little bit of a dilemma. I thought Cantwell last week against Hearts was excellent, so he'll be a starter, but he's got plenty of options.
You don't think, Billy, it's a possibility that Goldson does come back, but it's Suter who drops out?
No. To be honest, you don't fix something that's no broke. Stick with what you've got there. And there's a far better performance last week than we've had in the last couple of weeks. So why change it?
Yep, I get that in theory. But Mark, I suppose fans should be more likely than managers to look mostly at the result. Philippe Clement still might have seen those mistakes that John Suter made, or the way that the positional issues, because it doesn't look like Red Van Yilmaz will make it. So again, you're looking at Dujon Sterling coming in at left back. It might just be a combination of factors, and added to that, the fact that it was called a rest by him last week. I know people don't necessarily believe it, but that's what he said it was. The back line is going to be an interesting one, because Sterling, I wonder if Sterling will play as one of the wingers like he did at St Mirren before, and he played in that left side, and Barisic actually comes in and plays the left back role. So who do you pair Barisic with? Do you pair him with Suter? Is there too many mistakes within that left side? If you do you go then Balogun, like Daz says, and Goldson comes back in? Because that's what the manager stated, that was clearly a rest. We'll go back to the same old saying, the manager sees these players every day in training. He might see enough in Connor Goldson in training that he still thinks he's a real leader and more dependable than the other ones. Fans see mistakes in games, and once you get a couple, they're quick to jump on you, and all of a sudden you're not flavour of the month. That's happened to Connor Goldson, but Clement might see it differently. So time will tell in that one. But I think the Sterling one at left back might be an interesting one with a lack of wingers. He might move up, and Daz's old favourite in the number 3 berth, Barisic might come in.
Billy says don't fix something it's no broke. I take on board last week Hearts clean sheet, but I keep going back to it. I wouldn't be surprised if Goldson comes in. I don't think he will, but I won't be surprised. But I keep going back, and the manager will realise this. When he was performing, especially away from home, defensively, his best partnership, without a shadow of doubt, was Connor Goldson and Balogun.
What does that count for if those players aren't in the form that they were then?
So
what, in 10 years just keep them as the same?
No. I think when you are you telling me that John Suter's pulling up trees just now? John Suter looks like he's got a mistake in him most weeks as well. Balogun obviously was injured. Suter's lost a bit of form. There's not denying that.
But it would have been easier, or just as easy, to drop Suter last week, wouldn't it have, and put Balogun in then, because it was your biggest game, because it was in front of you and it was a semi-final.
I don't think he'll change it, Mark, but what I'm saying is I wouldn't second guess this manager, because I wouldn't be surprised if I turn up here tomorrow and the team lines come in and Goldson is playing, right? I don't think he'll change it, but as I keep going back to it, if he changes it, I don't think it's a bigger worry that every Rangers fans think about, because Goldson's been off form. Their partnership was very, very good.
I think we'd all agree, Billy, Rangers probably can't afford to slip up tomorrow. Do you fancy them to win it and win it as comfortably as you'd like?
Oh, definitely fancy them. And I'd also like to say that good luck to Darvel tomorrow in the West of Scotland Cup final.
Billy, who are they playing?
Pollock.
Big crowd.
Good on that, absolutely. Lots of good football at this time of the season. Thanks to Billy. Let's hear the thoughts of Philippe Clement.
All scenarios are possible, and it can make a lot of turns still in these 5 final games. Alex told me once that he became champion last 4 games. He was 5 points behind, for example. So everything is possible. So it's again good for you guys that there are a lot of scenarios possible, a lot of things to write about. And for us, it's about thinking about next game and doing everything possible to win that game.
Oh, you can just imagine our old pal Alex Ray. Phil, have you ever heard of Helicopter Sunday? Let me tell you, I've got a few tales. He doesn't need a second excuse usually, does he?
No, he's been assimilated well into the coaching staff, Alec, and obviously a big honour for him to be loving it. I still miss the lifts home. I don't know.
No offence, Mark.
Hold on a
Wilson.
minute. You've just asked me for a lift
But
home.
you disappear.
Again.
You do disappear on the train quite often.
I like to mix it up. I do. But by the way, all joking aside, Alex, at this time of the season, to have in your dressing room and to have someone that can, relate back to a position that looked like all hope was lost at one stage, to be able to, transfer that to the players, useful thing to have about.
Let's get Nadim's thoughts on tomorrow. What are you thinking, Nadim?
Hi Gordon, how you doing?
Good, thank you. Hugh?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I'm phoning up. I had a couple of points. So one around Scotland, but my main point was around the whole Gunnar Goldson Rangers defensive partnership. I just can't understand some of the Rangers fans coming on and talking about dropping Goldson. You're talking about a player that's, granted, he's not had a great season this season. I agree with you. I think he started the season well, but I think he's certainly the last few weeks or so, or a couple of months, he's kind of been off the boil. But you're talking about one of the more influential players in the team. Not just his ability on the ball. Maybe that's dwindled a wee bit, maybe. But the fact that he's a leader in the pitch. He's absolutely massive for Rangers. If I like it to maybe Celtic, Carl McGregor at Celtic. He's not had a great season. Everybody admits that. You wouldn't drop McGregor if he was fit. So it's the same for me. It's the same situation with Gunnar Goldson. He's too influential on the pitch to drop. For me, the partnership would be Connor Goldson and Balogun. I think Balogun has been brilliant since he's come back to Rangers and since he's been playing. I think he's been outstanding. So for me, you play Connor Goldson all day long.
Kind of get what Nadeem means, because you can acknowledge a loss of form and act accordingly, like last week. But the previous caller said if it's not broke, don't fix it, i.e. leave Connor Goldson out tomorrow. So Rangers win again, Connor Goldson stays out. It's just very hard to imagine a scenario where Connor Goldson doesn't play again between now and the end of the season.
I don't think that'll happen.
Very hard to imagine that, isn't it?
I don't think that'll happen. I think
or hardly plays.
Yeah, I think Connor Goldson has got too much to offer. He's certainly off form, but every player takes a dip. Look, you get to a certain age, and if you have a few bad games and you're off a bit of form, people start pointing the finger. Well, his legs have gone and X, Y, and Z. Every player goes through it. Connor Goldson is a very good defender. He's a very good player for Rangers. He will come back. He will be involved in it. He's still got 2 years left in his contract. So I think he's still a big player. I agree right now. I think that if Connor Goldson playing at the top of his game, the two best centre backs for me is Goldson and Balogun, because when Clement come in, they showed that was the way forward. Away from home, defensively they were brilliant. They weren't leaking goals. So for me, I think that's the two best centre backs.
Have you any anxieties about tomorrow, Nadeem, or Rangers get the job done?
I hope we get the job done. It's obviously it's kind of out of our hands a little bit now with a league title, with the way things have gone. So I'm confident we'll win. It's just if Celtic, drop any points or how they go on. Hopefully they can maybe drop some points against Dundee. But see, I had another point, Gordon, if you don't mind, just a quick one. It was about Scotland, actually. It was about some of the Euros, as I've phoned up regularly, told you guys about that. So obviously it's on the top of my mind. So the fact that now that the squads have been extended from 23 to 26, I think it is. What's the panel's thoughts on the 3 extra players? I know we've got a lot of injuries in terms of the right back position, and I know McTominay might have got an injury today as well. So we might have other priorities. But if let's say everyone was near enough fully fit, who's the other 3 players that you take in the squad?
I genuinely think we're struggling to fill 23 at this point. I am stressed about this Scott McTominay news today. It didn't look good. We don't know for sure, obviously, but he was doing the old banging the turf, in anger, and he's quite a robust character. I think he came on and then went off again, looked in a bit of distress. So it's just ruined my weekend, quite frankly.
There's no definitive word on Kieran Tierney either, who's receiving treatment.
Andy Robertson is limping through the mix zone at the London Stadium today as well. Apparently, just call the full thing off. Just forget it.
I think other nations have this worry regularly, but because we've not been at
this seems
many
to be
tournaments,
quite an extreme list that could be building.
To top players, and anyway, McTominay would be as big a loss as say McGinn, because he's been that good for Scotland.
It's now hard to answer Nadeem's question, but it's still a fair one. Are there 3 others that you think could be added, or does it just actually become from that kind of current?
I think if everybody was fit, Gordon, I would cover myself with every base. I would look at wingers. because we changed at Hampden not that long ago from a 3 into a 4, and I think it gave Steve Clarke the opportunity. But the problem was we'd no width in the team at all. We had midfield players, John McGinn going playing off the right. I think if we're going to change the formation, and I think you've got to do that at top level football, especially in the World Cup against top quality teams, then I think you've got to have the players at your disposal to do that. So I think the fact that he's got 3 extra players, me personally, and it's only my personal opinion, I'd be thinking,
who then?
right,
What, James Forrest, Ryan Fraser, Ben Doak, Dan Armstrong?
Somebody like a Ryan Fraser or somebody, a bit of pace, gets us up the pitch, changes it a little bit for us, gives us a natural width that we'll need. Because when we changed it the last time, we had midfield players playing in wide areas that were certainly not comfortable and didn't want to play there. They want to influence the game from the middle of the park going forward. So if you've got that extra, because we do play with 3 at the back, 2 wing backs, that's our success. That's what we've built the national side on. But when you get to a level of football, sometimes you have got to change the system accordingly, and you've got to have the personnel for
Briefly, Mark, any 3 that you would bring in? Is it hard to pick because ultimately you're maybe needing to take an extra centre back now, or does it mean that Liam Cooper and John Souttar go? As an example, does it mean that
I think
Kenny McLean and Ryan Jack? I'm just throwing, and actually it's not going to be like we pick these 3 new surprising names.
I would love it to be that way. Like Daz says, 3 attacking names that really excites you and come on and can change the game. But I think Steve Clarke is quite pragmatic with his approach, and it will be. Briefly, if you can, Nadeem, have you got any names?
I think the way the current situation is, with a right back, right full back position, I think Armstrong, he's probably a good enough shout. He's had a great season, and he's done really well in that kind of full back position. So as I said, but I've not really any great thoughts on it. In terms of who I've thought. I'd just like to hear what the panel thought, because if everybody was fully fit, it's a great kind of conundrum to have. Isn't it, what other 3 players take? But because the injuries have happened now, it's maybe, as you said, maybe it's a just patching a team together rather than going for what you'd ideally like.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully the McTominay news is not too bad, but it didn't look great. Thank you to Nadeem, and if you call now, there's a good chance we'll get you on next.
Talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Gordon DL, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins are in the building. We're looking ahead to tomorrow's games, thinking about who should play and who shouldn't and what it means for the title race. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's football. If you watched your team, tell us what it was like. That's the whole point of a Saturday from 5 till 6. Robert is on Twitter. He says Balogun must start over Goldson. Goldson's confidence looks to have gone in recent months. Balogun looked good against Hearts. Dessers drives me insane, but he must start. Cantwell in the 10, Sterling and McCausland on the wings. And John says belter of a day, gardening on the beers and listening to the phone in. Hands down the highlight of my week. Just not too many. I make a mess of the grass, do you? We wake up in the morning,
you're letting down.
I think
it's all burnt,
it's chopped to bits. Anyway, let's
bring
in Thomas, who's in East Kilbride. How are you, Thomas?
Not bad, folks. Yes, thank you.
How are things looking from a Celtic perspective tomorrow then?
Well, Celtic will make a step up another gear for me, because I think Dundee will up for us, because they drew with Rangers the last game and they'll be looking for a result, so they'll come after Celtic big time. So I don't know what the panel think about that.
It's very straightforward for Celtic. They cannot defend as they defended last week, or they'll be in bother. They lost the goal after 2 minutes, then they lost the goal in the last minute of regulation time, and then lost a goal in the last minute of extra time. Now that is simply lack of concentration, and Liam Scales and Carter Vickers both had, for me, poor games. And it's as plain as the nose in your face. If you defend like that tomorrow, you are in trouble in Dundee.
It's hard to know, because I don't think Dundee are actually in brilliant form overall. Obviously, when you get, we consider these a statement result. You take points off Celtic or Rangers, it's a statement result, and well done to Dundee. They were very good for it. What was that, about 10 days ago, I think. Now, prior to that, they drew 0-0 at Pittodrie. The game before that, they were 2-0 up and lost 3-2 at home to Motherwell. So it just depends. Sometimes you feel these games are a bit different. Can they replicate it? Can you go back to back home games, Rangers and Celtic, and get something? Maybe, but it's obviously a big challenge.
It's very difficult, and you know that Celtic have got the better players. I know what Hugh was saying there about Celtic giving up goals last weekend, but sometimes you've got to give a wee bit credit to Aberdeen. Some of the balls in were good quality balls and good finishes. But I think going up to Dens tomorrow, and I know the pitch has been highlighted for weeks upon weeks. The pitch is actually very good.
Oh, it was fine against Rangers in 10 days on.
It's actually a lot better now, Gordon. It's had a lot of work. It's in very good condition, so that's not going to come into play. I just think with the importance of the game, and Celtic will know what they have to do before they kick a ball at Dens, because the Rangers game will be finished. They'll know the result of that. I just think cup football's completely different from the league campaign. It was exciting last week. We all enjoyed it. As a neutral, it was absolutely brilliant. But it's league business now. I think Celtic will go up there, and I think they will have enough to beat a Dundee team on their day that are very, very good.
Remember, Celtic 7 off them the last time they played, but that was at Celtic Park, and Celtic were in a better place at that time. Callum McGregor, how fit is he?
Well, he's getting fitter by the week. Brendan Rodgers said it was always the plan to give him a little bit of time against Rangers, then the 60 or whatever he got last week, and then up it from there. So
see, I would disagree with that. I think Celtic are in a better place now.
Yeah, and they also won 3-0 at Dens in December.
Yeah, I think Celtic with Hatate back in the side, Carter Vickers probably a bit stronger, McGregor getting back to fitness, are in a better place. But the game was at Parkhead that night, and
but they did win 3-0 at Dens. It's 13-1 to Celtic on aggregate in the 3 meetings this season.
Well, Bernardo stepped up. Was that on Boxing Day? Was it Mikey Johnson as well on that occasion? I still think Celtic personnel wise are better, but look, at this stage of the season, you're just hoping that players perform. That's what you're looking for. Brendan Rodgers isn't going to do some tactical masterclass that's going to catch Tony Docherty out. Not at all. Tony Docherty's the same. It'll be the same tactics he employed, but for Brendan Rodgers, he will hope the guys who've maybe underperformed in recent weeks but still got results will perform at their peak, and they'll remain at that peak for the next 5 games, and so will Philippe come on, and that's what it comes down to: who handles the pressure and who performs on the day.
Yeah, Celtic weren't in a brilliant place at that time, Hugh. It was only 2 games after the home draw with Kilmarnock. It was only 4 league games after the draw at Pittodrie, so actually weren't really. And it came the game before the 2-0 defeat at Tynecastle, so they weren't really in such a bad spot. Thomas, what would you do? Would you play James Forrest? There's been a lot of talk about him this week.
Well, that's what I was saying to your colleague earlier on there before I come through. I would start Forrest, because Forrest, I think he's like night and day for Celtic. I know he's been through the park with Celtic 100 times, but he's 100% there.
You showed your hand on this last night, Hugh. No doubt about it. Start him.
Yeah, I mean, Brendan Rodgers spoke yesterday about getting trophy heads on. Well, James Forrest has won 22 major trophies as a Celtic player. I think that whether it's Palmer, Yang, Kuhn, they flit in and out. They are, for me, lightweight in comparison to Forrest, who's a heavyweight achiever. A certified winner, according to Brendan Rodgers. I think now is the time for people like James Forrest to bring that presence and experience to bear over the course of these 5 games, because the mentality has to be perfect to get this over the line.
He did make a big difference last week. Mark obviously scored the goal. He has been lauded by Brendan Rodgers, as Hugh says. He's a certified winner. Some of the comments yesterday, he was talking about, even when he went to England, they would tell people that James Forrest was the best they had worked with at receiving the ball tight to the line. He was been really detailed in his praise. Does all that point to him starting? And do we need to be cautious of not getting carried away? Is there a reason James Forrest has played as little as he has up until now?
Yeah, well, of course there is. And Brendan Rodgers has been consistent for a good bit of time now about James Forrest and what he thought, and he said that he would play a big part in his team, and he has come on and scored goals, but I wouldn't say he's head and shoulders above the others at the minute in terms of starting. Got to remember, Yang played his probably best game against Beck that night at Celtic Park, and that was the liveliest you've seen him. And you wonder if things like that come into the managers thinking that, I agree with you, Yang's been up and down with his form. He looks like weight at times, but when he played so well that night, managers tend to think like that. So it's going to be an interesting selection. James Forrest has got a part to play, in this title race. There's no doubt about it. But I wonder if it does often mentions impact players, and I wonder if James is at the stage now that he gives a real boost to his team when he comes off the bench, and he can be that little burst of energy for half an hour, 45 minutes or half an hour, rather than playing from the start. I know people think, well, what's the point of playing from the start? Sometimes when you tire out, a full back, and you bring on Forrest, who's so direct, you get the best out of him.
I've got to admit, if I was going to start James Forrest, it'd certainly be tomorrow. And the reason being, his confidence must be sky high. He looked a player that was just there to make up the numbers on the bench. He comes on last week in Hampden. He's been terrific, gets his goal. He looked brilliant the time he was on the pitch. I know he gets subbed back off, but then you get all the praise during the week from your manager. So you must be in cloud nine. You must be desperate to go and play. So if he's ever going to start James Forrest, for me, it has to be tomorrow.
How do you feel about the title hopes overall, Thomas, at this stage?
Well, I mean, it's in Celtic's hands, and the 4 games to go or something, aren't they?
5 starting in the league. 5 starting tomorrow. Yeah,
right. It's in Celtic's hands. If Rangers lose, it's back to Celtic again.
Well, it could be quite a pivotal day tomorrow, that's for sure. That's why there's so much excitement around it. Let's hear from Brendan Rodgers.
Listen, I think they've had good results right the way through the season. I think Tony's done a brilliant job, him and his staff. That there'll be stronger squads, I'm sure, in the league that will feel that they could have made the top 6. But I think the likes of Tony, what he's done, what the likes of Stephen Robinson has done at St Mirren, Derek Kilmarnock, they've really shown their coaching and managerial qualities. And in particular, Tony coming through and his first season in the Premiership as a manager. The job he's done is absolutely brilliant. So I expect them to play how they've played all season, which is with a collective spirit, work very, very hard for each other, and give any team a problem.
It is by no means all about the title race, because Dundee are aiming for European qualification. Here's Tony Docherty.
Any strengths that they've got we try and negate, and any weaknesses they've got we try and exploit, and that's what we're endeavouring to do on Sunday. And we'll really look forward to the fact that we're at home. I think the home support have been fantastic this season. They were in the most recent game there against Rangers, and I'd be looking for them to contribute as well as much as they've done all season, because they've been outstanding. And again, I go back to that, they must be proud of their team, because their team have just come up for being newly promoted. They've achieved all those objectives, and if anybody had said at the start of the season maybe a possibility for the first time in 21 years getting to Europe, then I think they'd have taken that. But they've played a pivotal part, and I hope they do continue to do that on Sunday.
You look at that race, Mark Wilson, because of the results of the Cup semi-finals last week, it's 5 European places to the Scottish Premiership. St Mirren are in there at the moment on 43 points, and Dundee 2 points behind. The table I was looking at there confused me, because it's one of those that forgets that we've got a split, and it's just moved Hibs above Dundee, which we know is not possible. But anyway, 2 points between St Mirren and Dundee. They play the big two tomorrow. They then play each other, so that's going to be huge.
Yeah, it will be, on the basis of St Mirren being there all season, kind of in around that position. I'd say they've still got to be favourites. Stephen Robinson's done a fantastic job, there's no doubt about it, though. Tony Dock, for a team that's come up and compiled that squad together to get into 6th place and with a shot of Europe, is a remarkable job, and they will make it difficult for Celtic. Just going back to the game tomorrow, when I was at that 7-1 game at Celtic Park, and I'm thinking it's about how you start these games. Dundee started so well that game and could have scored within, was it 60 seconds? They had 2 or 3 opportunities, and it was scrambling about in the Celtic box, and you're thinking, off the back of Celtic's performances a few weeks before, you think this is going to be a tough night, and they got off the hook and went up and scored the other end shortly after, and it ended up an easy night. Tomorrow, who knows what can happen. If that starts in a similar way and Dundee score, going to be a nervy 90 minutes.
Thanks again to Thomas. 01419511025. Good time to call. We'll get you on next.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Well, it's that time on a Saturday where we reflect on the day's action, but also look forward to tomorrow's football as well. And tomorrow should be blockbuster, a 6-hour Super Scoreboard for your audible pleasure. Make sure you join the guys at noon tomorrow. Andrew McLean will look after things in my absence. Let's start getting some reaction to today's football though. Stephen Naismith, Hearts haven't quite secured third yet. It does seem like a matter of time.
I thought our performance today was brilliant, really good. The only thing that missed was probably a few goals. We've done everything but score, and I'd say that taking into consideration where we are, who we're playing, it's one of the toughest places you'll come in the season. A main part of our season is that we've played it in these grounds and picked up the points and had good performances, so really pleased because the performance and probably the chances we created, the only thing was we never got a goal. Maybe if you're in September and you don't win it, you're frustrated more than I am at the moment because we've ticked the game off, we've had a really good performance, and you want to get to the point where you can enjoy this month that's left, because it's very rarely does it happen, and football's so intense. You don't enjoy these moments at the time. I won trophies and you don't really enjoy them at the time. If we can get over the line, today's went a big way of doing it, because you're asking Morecambe to not drop a point from now at the end of the season against the best teams in the league. We're in a really good place. It's been a good season, and we can enjoy this and look forward to the challenges of the next season.
Said it at the top of the show, Mark, it does feel like some of this is almost taken for granted, because Hearts have been there all season, they're nailed on third, and people can diminish that by saying, yeah, but they've probably got round about the third biggest budget, so they should finish third. Fine, but look at Hibs and Aberdeen. It's just not easy. They've been so nailed on third for so long that they're almost not quite getting the credit for being there.
Yeah, and getting to the semi-final as well, and because they underperform in that, then people start to go back to the old arguments. But Daz pointed out earlier on, Stephen Naismith went through an incredibly difficult period in the season where Hearts fans were maybe wanting a change, and it's easy for clubs to sack managers, and particularly young managers, so he had to ride that out. I remember some post-match interviews, he had to front up and say things that were probably hard for him, and then get it right, and he has got it right more often than not this season, so he has to take immense credit, and he rightly so, in the running for manager of the year, a young manager at a big club, and he's been successful this year.
And as for Kilmarnock, Gordon, it's a point that moves them 9 above St Mirren. St Mirren, as we know, play against Rangers tomorrow. That seems like the type of gap where you could legitimately say that a point today could be a good point. That could be the point that is enough for them. Probably would have been enough anyway, but
yeah, but they want to cement that, and as Stephen Naismith quite rightly says, you want to know what your position is so you can go and enjoy the rest of the season, play free football. You've got to look at Kilmarnock, where they've came from to finish fourth, and I think we'll all agree that's what will happen. It's been absolutely terrific for everyone concerned at Rugby Park. I think Derek McInnes is recruited very, very well. He's got a very strong squad. You hear the Hearts manager saying, listen, this is one of the hardest fixtures to come in the calendar, and I think every club would agree with that as well. So to finish fourth this season, from the Championship to 10th last year, the rebuild again, I think he's done a terrific job, and that's why I went for him for my manager of the year.
You kind of both say it, Hugh. If you're Hearts, you say, well, that's a really tough place to go. Look at how Celtic and Rangers have struggled there. And if you're Kelly, you say, well, that's the third best team in the country that's come down, so 0-0, point of peace, move on.
I think Stephen Naismith talked it up beautifully, referring to Hearts as brilliant, did everything but score, which for me means you weren't brilliant. But anyway, that's up to him. He's
You're not having Stephen Naismith, are you?
You'll always find a flaw.
But they've done their work. They will be third and fourth, and they have been involved in more good matches than bad ones, so they can pat themselves on the back.
I think with Stephen Naismith, people assume he's older than what he is. See, when you really think about a manager of his age at a club like Hearts, with the expectations that surrounds him, does it really matter if you've got the biggest budget? For a young manager coming into that club, having come from Hearts reserves and taking on that role, that's a difficult first role, and you've got to say he's done really well. I know he's got Shankland and he's got players who can make a difference, but he still needs to get a tune out of them, and he has got a tune out of them.
You've been rich and you've been poor, and rich is better.
Yeah, but again,
I wouldn't know. I've only been poor.
No, but they might have but the budget advantage over Aberdeen will, if there is one, will be tiny. You would have thought.
I would think so.
Well, but not tiny, not much in it. If there is, it won't be night and day compared to Hibs.
And you had to take into consideration the whole European fiasco that surrounded him. Remember, he was head coach, and it was Frankie McAvoy and all that nonsense that way. He had to put it behind him and be strong enough. That couldn't have been easy for a young manager. So we always want to give young managers credit, and I think he should get immense credit for the job he's done.
So, you know what I've been impressed with Hearts as well? They've already started preparing for next week with a few players coming in. Danda obviously was counting next season, and Spittle at Motherwell. So he's already on the front foot looking for next year.
Spittle's been much quieter since that pre-contract, you would have to say.
To be fair to Danda, he was doing well with Ross County, but they clearly disappeared this afternoon at Libby.
Yeah, absolutely right. From one side of Edinburgh, then let's hear from Nick Montgomery, because it's a really weird time that they're in. They will finish bottom six. There's no getting away from that. For a club of that size, it's a terrible season. Then the statement comes out where they're conducting a review of the football structure. They have spoken to Nick Montgomery. They agree that results aren't good enough, but he's still in position. So by beating the worst teams in the league, is that enough to keep him his job? We'll find out in time, but they did win convincingly against St Johnstone today.
In terms of the performance, I thought the performance was good. I thought the result was what we deserved, and that's not always been the case this season. We've dominated so many games this season on stats, on possession, but they don't win you games of football. Putting the ball in the back of the net and being clinical in them moments, and we were today, but we weren't as clinical as we should have been, because we could have scored another 4 goals minimum, but their goalkeeper pulled off some great saves. And a couple of weeks ago at Easter Road, it was a real deflating, disappointing result, and again the goalkeeper pulled off 4 or 5 great saves that day, and we totally dominated. What might have been, what could have been, doesn't matter. What matters is that we came here today, we showed a good character, and the boys put in a good performance, and we go away with 3 points in what was a difficult game after a difficult 2 weeks, but a good group of lads in there, and never question the character. And sometimes you have to make your own luck as well, and make sure you defend properly in key moments. And probably disappointed we conceded the goal. Other than that, obviously really happy with the result.
Bill Foley's money gets him 2 seats on the board, so 2 members of his group are there monitoring everything about Hibs. It sounds like a desperate day for St Johnstone if you can win 3-0 and Nick Montgomery can say we should have had 4 more. Desperate day for St Johnstone, the home team, but Nick Montgomery lives on a game by game basis, and today was a good day.
I suppose, Mark, if he makes a mess of the post-split fixtures, then he certainly won't continue as the Hibs manager by the sounds of the statement, so nothing else for it. Finish the season on a relative high and see if it's enough. Yeah, and roll the dice in the summer, because I don't think you can be certain either way what's going to happen there. I think Bill Foley would be in his right to say no, we expect better and we're going to make a change, but for Nick Montgomery, it's just about getting the job done and doing it in a more convincing fashion than we've seen this season. Today was a good start for him. I think if he gets a positive last few games, Gordon, I think he'll keep his job. I don't see the point than going around the building and starting to sack managers again. He's not that far away from having a good side. Middle to front, they're good. They've got goal scorers, they've got good players in the middle of the park, they've got good pace, everything about them. He's recruited 1 or 2 good players in January. That's a positive sign for him. At the back, if he can get defenders that know how to defend at this level, I would stick with him for 1 transfer window. I think he deserves it. He's just in the door. But new owners always want to put their own stamp on things, don't they? I know that, but sometimes just changing for the sake of changing. We've seen it a million times, and Hibs are guilty of this. They can't even get the top of the tree right. They're talking about bringing someone else in to sit above Brian McDermott. I don't know what his role is going to be then, so they need to get that right first. Motherwell almost they had a chance of top 6, left it too late, couldn't get over the line. Now beaten by Aberdeen, so Stuart Kettlewell, plenty to think about going forward. He was asked if he believed that the corner Aberdeen scored from should have been a corner in the first place.
Look at the players' reaction. The Aberdeen players start filtering back outside the box, and our players acknowledge that it's our ball. And it was just at a stage where you just felt that the whole thing was chaotic, which was obviously stemming from the red card that the referee was like an Olympic sprinter to try and get across and brandish his red card. So I felt that kind of started it, but I genuinely believe that that's what the game hinged on today. I didn't think there was a great deal, if anything, between the teams at all. Both goalies could have been worked more probably from positions that both Aberdeen and ourselves were in. There wasn't anything in that game until such point point is Jack Vale's shown the red card, and it becomes a massive ask for us coming up here. Aberdeen have got their tails up at that point, they've got a numerical advantage, and we go and start throwing caution at the wind and leaving ourselves in 3v2s and 2v1s. I think there might even have been a 4v1 in there. Testament to the players, they poured everything into it. But you know what, up to the point of the red card as well, I thought we were decent, I thought we were alright. For me, it's laughable. You know, you say he looks high, ball's dropped over his shoulder, and he hooks it over his shoulder, and the Aberdeen player Jack McKenzie comes steaming into Jack Vale. I'm actually screaming for. I thought it might have been our foul at the time. He doesn't decelerate at any point. He comes charging in here and into Jack Vale. I can only tell you my gut feeling, and people will see it different ways. As soon as I seen it, my first reaction was just to start laughing. I can't believe that it was given as a red card.
Yeah, you're not happy with that red card, so we'll have a look and see. Difficult for us. Certainly if his description is accurate, it sounds harsh, but then managers would do it that way.
See, there are ways of expressing yourself. You know, Brendan Rodgers called the referees incompetent. Stuart Kettlewell there who said it's laughable, but laughable doesn't get you a ban, incompetent does. So he's clearly not happy with the way the game was refereed, but we'd have to see the Jack Vale incident to be sure in our own minds whether he's got a cause or not.
Right, come on then. Final thoughts. We're nearly done. Tomorrow, Gordon DL, what are you expecting?
I'm going to stick with a night in the block. I think it'll be plain sailing for both teams. I think Rangers will win the early kick-off in Paisley, and I think Celtic will do the business at Dundee.
So tipping the two favourites is sticking your neck on the block, is it? Okay,
yeah, I
okay,
think people think that they're going to drop points. I don't see it.
Okay, they are favourites overwhelmingly. Mark?
1-1 will draw tomorrow and 1-1.
You're not even picking one?
I'll pick tomorrow.
Suspense.
That's called a tease.
I like that.
Sleep the night.
Rangers will win and Celtic will draw.
There we go. We'll find out tomorrow. It's a 6-hour special on Clyde One Super Scoreboard from 12 noon. Andrew McLean is looking after things. These three will be back. And listen, I try not to be too judgmental, but you'd be crazy to miss it. What a day it's going to be in the title race and the race for European places. So make sure you're here at midday tomorrow, and in the meantime, this is the place to be on a Saturday night. I was going to say the sun's shining, I don't think it is anymore, but nevertheless, George Bowie, GBX up next. Enjoy your evening.
This is no ordinary cross. It's the power to choose your leaders, shape your communities, and decide your future. This is no ordinary cross. It's your influence and your voice. The Mayor of London and London Assembly elections are on Thursday the 2nd of May. Pencil in the date, bring your photo ID, and make your mark. The power is in your hand. Find out more at londonelects.org.uk.